Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
Put the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
Then, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
You know, they won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Dennis, why do you love me?
I guess it would help if my mic were on. Can you hear me? Please tell me you hear me.
I hear you.
Okay, outstanding. Good. I think I worked out not all the negativity, some of the negativity last night about this Green Bay shit. But in the opening, you talk about, I literally shit my pants. I mean, that's the way I felt. Like Sunday was such a punch to the fucking abdominal muscles. It just made your belly roar and you could just shit all over yourself.
That's right. Dan is referring to his appearance on the Bears Country podcast. The first hour was here on the Barroom Network, and then the second hour was on the Bears Country podcast.
We did like 2 hours over there.
Look at that, 2 hours.
And all venting about how much we hate Green Bay. So
good. I'm glad you got all that poison out of your system. Today, you're making a lot of noise there. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm getting my cell phone charger. Sorry about that.
Let me mute your microphone while you fucking rearrange the world. I am going to tell you, first of all, that Johnny Santucci will be joining us in about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. He's going to share with us his Bears thoughts on what happened. Then for the first hour, Dan and I are going to relook at this Bears game. I've got 10 points of why the Bears lost and some videotape to correspond with that. And then I've got some audio from the Bernstein and Holmes show where they talk about Justin Fields, and then I want to get everybody's comments on that. So that's the order for today. So Dan, you were clearly in a miserable state on Sunday night. You texted me a number of times. It almost sounded like you were ready to really commit Harry Carey.
I kept trying to tell you, it's like, no, Aldo, I don't give up. Don't misinterpret me. I felt that they were just in like going through the motions. We got that turnover and I thought, okay, maybe that's going to be the catalyst. But at that time, there was no momentum. There was no life. There was no tackling, and there was certainly no offense. It felt like you're just stuck in this meteoric just pile of shit. You're about to lose 41-7 if something doesn't happen. Then finally they get that turnover. You're like, okay. And they get a field goal. And like you said, it appeared that Justin scored. And if they got that touchdown, then you're looking at 24-17. And that's a different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's to say Aaron Rodgers still doesn't hit Sammy Watkins and they go straight down the field, and maybe the Bears still lose. But at least if the call goes the way it should have gone and he's in, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bears fan, all the still photos show the ball crossing, that, you know, then you got a different game. But they just needed something, and for 3 quarters it felt like they couldn't get it. So I was down about it, but you could tangibly feel that they were dead. They were fucking drowning until that turnover.
Yep. I'm being told my audio is a little low. Is that better, Tooch? Dan, can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine. Fuck you, Tooch. Leave him alone. I'm kidding.
Merry Christmas, barflies.
Tooch is drunk already. He's been hitting that bourbon.
Evidently.
All right. So let's get right into this. I looked at this game, and I wanted to list some of the things that went wrong, which led to this defeat, because I really do believe this game was very winnable for the Chicago Bears. They did not accomplish what they should have accomplished. Now, I do excuse them for a lot of their poor performance because, like I've been telling the ever optimistic Dan Aguirre, this is a brand new team. You've got guys who have never played together. You've got guys who are wide receivers outside of Darnell Mooney who are cast-offs from other teams. You've got an unproven tight end who is not a big-time, has not proven himself to be a big-time tight end. You've got so many fucking question marks on both sides of the ball that it's expected that they're going to have performances against the Green Bay Packers like they did. The idea, though, is how do we correct this as quickly as possible so that we can have a promising season? So first and foremost, I want to start with first downs because the Chicago Bears get off to a 7-3 lead, and then their next possession, their second possession of the game, Justin Fields goes back to throw. The left tackle, Braxton Jones, can't hold this block, and he's sacked. And now it is 2nd down and 15, and that's no way to start a series. On the next series, the third series that they had, Ryan Griffin, the tight end, is offsides. So again, they start off 1st and 15. And then on the third series of the game, Cole Kmet drops his pass. So this is where I cue you, Dan, and tell me what you think about Cole Kmet.
Again, I'm hoping that maybe it was Matt Nagy holding him back, but this guy, he's in his 3rd year now, and it's all like, oh, he's going to be so good. He was a Bears fan growing up. I want him to be good. Mm-hmm. He doesn't appear to be good. I hate to say it. I want him to be good, but he looks like another miss for the Bears in the draft.
Now, I do want to add more to that, but first let me get to my second point, which is this is Coach Flus talking about that pass where Justin Fields went over the line of scrimmage, because that was a huge opportunity to move the sticks and continue one of their early drives in the game. This is Flus along with the replay of that play.
Well, I mean, just the obvious. I think he could have ran, and just went for it because he's so fast. I think that could have been an option, and I think he had several other options there he could have done, but, he knows he's got to do better on that play for sure.
Did you sense there was a chance to reset prior to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think he feels that too, for sure, yep.
So that is one of a number of Justin Fields' errors, clearly, as a quarterback who has been playing big-time college football, is now in his 2nd NFL year. It's a stupid Dan Orlovsky mistake to get over the line of scrimmage, and not that Orlovsky did that. He stepped out of the end line. I understand.
I didn't know it. It was behind the goalpost.
Yes, exactly. So, but that is another big time error on the part of the Chicago Bears that cost them this game. Let me get on to point number 3. This is another Justin Fields. Lose that comment. Yeah. This is another Justin Fields play that he should have hit a wide open Equanimeous St. Brown. Equanimeous St. Brown is at the top of the
that was he converted his route on that. St. Brown did, and that's something we're continuing to work on. If he beats a guy like that, he'll convert that route, and he just didn't see him at that moment. Yeah, he made the decision to check it down. Yep.
He's so open. I saw Adam Hogue's tweet on it, or Adam Johns' tweet, but I didn't notice it live. I did not notice it, and I got to be honest with you, Aldo, I don't think I'm ever going to watch this game again. So That's the first video footage of it I've seen, and man, he is open and his hands up. He's like, "Throw me the fucking ball, bro." Yeah, that's just so disheartening.
That is incredibly disheartening because the defensive formation there's only one defensive back that is deep, and that is the safety. He's in the middle of the field, and Fields has good protection. He should see that on the right, Equanimeous St. Brown, who is super fast, has one-on-one coverage. And then when he drops back and plants that back foot, he should still be looking towards the safety to see if he's moving towards EQ's side of the football field. And he's not. That was a huge fucking mistake. I'm not saying EQ would have scored there, but he probably could have with his speed, or
that's at least 40 yards.
Absolutely. In the red zone and setting us up for points. So that was another blow to the nuts. All right. Here comes point number 4. This is Fool's not highlighting. Oh, what the fuck did I write here?
Don't you hate that?
Yes, I do. Let's listen to it. We'll make sense of it on the other side.
It is a concern. We want to get better there. We want to improve. There's no question.
This is him talking about the passing game.
It is a concern. We want to get better there. We want to improve. There's no question. We want to improve on a lot of part of our football team, other aspects of our football team, but that's one of them. You know, the touches, who are we looking at? You know, getting touches early, getting guys involved. All those things are being looked at as we're looking through the course of our whole football team. Yeah, we need to highlight our skill. We know that. So we're going to try to do a better job of that. We will do a better job. We got, like I said last night, we got great coaches. Those guys.
Passing game thrive if it doesn't have big contributions, if it's not being led by Mooney and Komet?
No, I think you got to highlight your skill. You know, you got to highlight your skill. You know, like we highlighted, Demo last night, running the football. He's a good runner. We have good run blockers. We highlighted that last night, and that was a positive coming out of the game. So in the passing game, let's highlight our skill. Let's feed the guys that have skill that can take a short throw and turn it into a big gain. That can go downtown, and we have a good deep ball thrower. So we should utilize that too. And we're going to look at all aspects of that. Like I said, we got great coaches. They're going to work tirelessly to get that done this week.
So that's an important point, Dan. Cole Kmet can't show what he can do if he's only been thrown the pass 2 times this year, 1 in each game. Darnell Mooney cannot explode if he's got a total of 5 targets in just 2 games. This is a dynamic duo. Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney. There is proof on tape from last season that those guys can get the job done, Fields and Mooney. But if Luke Getsy is only going to call a certain amount of plays for Darnell Mooney, or if Justin Fields is going to make the decision not to test Darnell Mooney one-on-one when he's got the opportunity, then that's out of the control of those 2 players who are getting a lot of criticism right now. People are saying Mooney's not really a number 1. Well, how can you be a number 1 if you're getting targets for a number 3 or number 4 receiver? And the same thing with Cole Kmet. How can he be a big-time tight end if you're not throwing him the fucking ball?
But he's got a couple of years of tape where they have thrown him the ball and he hasn't exactly excelled. Mooney, again, has done well his first 2 seasons, so I think he deserves a little bit more leeway, although your point is still, it's on point, pun intended, to say that, you got to have more passing attempts, but that also means you have to secure the line. Justin's got to read the defense. And then you're looking at the Texans next week, almost the same. I mean, not exactly the same defense, but Lovey's D, as you know, is going to stop you from throwing the deep ball. Mm-hmm. He's going to make Justin be patient the whole fucking game.
Well, let's remember that Cole Kmet had 60 receptions last year. Yes, he had some dumb-headed plays, some dumb-headed drops, some dumb-headed assignments, poor blocking from time to time. But I'm still saying that Cole Kmet can be a big-time player. We just have to give him the opportunity. And this is not an isolated case. This is happening throughout the league with many tight ends. Kyle Pitts was a highly regarded tight end. People were saying that this guy was going to break every tight end record. You know what's going on with Kyle Pitts? He's extremely fucking frustrated. They're not calling any plays for him. He's not being thrown the ball. This guy has more talent than any tight end in recent memory, and he's not being used correctly. And the same thing is happening in Chicago with a guy who is lesser talented than Kyle Pitts. Don't get me wrong, but you still got to fucking throw the ball to him. And whether that's Fields' fault or Getsy's fault or a combination of the two of them, then that has to be cleaned up. All right.
I concur.
All right. Now, next, and this is clearly on Luke Getsy. Where the fuck was the play action? Where the fuck was it? You and I said it when we were in Cleveland, and Nagy didn't call any fucking play action passes, and we got our asses handed to us. And we're running the ball 10 yards a clip. We had a better run per carry average than the Packers, and they carved us up. And yet we didn't take advantage of the great run game we had. No play action. This is Coach Eberflus on that topic.
Yeah, that's what you do it for, right? You're going to open up those lanes, and we see it all over the league. When a team's able to run the ball, it certainly opens up the passing lanes for sure.
Taking a deliberately conservative approach with Justin passing because you're trying to give him some runway to get his footing in the offense?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, we're 2 games into a new offense, so you can certainly understand that, hey, the rhythm and the timing of it's going to improve every single week, and we're going to get that. It's going to improve, keep improving, and, it might be in small increments, it might be in big jumps, and we'll see how that goes, but certainly it's not deliberate at all.
Dan, did it sound a little funny to you the way he hesitated on that question about are you like not trusting Justin Fields right now? Did that sound a little funny, his response? No, I don't think so.
I didn't even think of it, honestly, until you said that. So I don't know. What I wanted to say in that, everything you said is, I guess I was just too focused on what I was going to say next, which isn't a good thing. But the goal line play, the 4th and goal in the shotgun, as you know, I've bitched about that for seasons.
That's coming up, but go ahead.
But I just wanted to use it with your play action point. At that point, Montgomery's run the ball the whole drive, running everybody over. Why don't you put Justin under center there, bring in your fucking fullback, and you can fake it to Montgomery and do a boot, waggle to each side with Justin, or just give Montgomery the ball, and then you got a half an inch to go. But you have so many plays off of the fake there at the goal line versus when he's in the shotgun, everyone knows he's not throwing there. And everybody knows he's not throwing. Why would he throw? If he can't throw the other 3 quarters of the game, suddenly he's going to throw from 4th and inches. He's clearly going to run. And just like everybody knew to key on him at that point. If you go play action there, it opens up the whole field.
Yeah. Steven is saying Getsy didn't help himself on Sunday. Even the 49ers game, there were questions. I think Eberflus is already putting him on notice. I got to say this about Getsy. He is still finding his footing as an offensive coordinator. Now, he told Justin Fields, and Justin Fields shared this with the media, that Getsy told the team, we're going to run the ball down their fucking throats. That's a fucking hell of a game plan. I like that game plan.
And it was working.
Yes. But as a continuation on that, especially when you're trailing, go ahead, call a couple of run plays, get those 10 yards per carry, and then fucking do the play action.
Yeah.
Do the fucking play action. So that's where Getsy fucked up. He was too focused on running the ball down their throats that he didn't adjust accordingly. Now, week 1, I don't know what Steven says. I thought week 1, Getsy made fucking great adjustments. The second half, 3 touchdowns. I don't know why anybody would be questioning Getsy. Maybe what happened in the first half, but I think what happened in the first half was awful fucking field position for the Chicago Bears. And so Getsy played it super, super safe. I don't know why there should be any criticism of Luke Getsy for week 1. But all right, moving on. No play action. By the way, when Eberflus said, I don't think so, I think what he meant by that is it's not Justin Fields. It's the offensive line. But let me read to you what Kenny Clark, the all-pro, Pro Bowl, super duper defensive tackle of the Packers said. Lose that graphic there from Jordan. Tooch, lose that. He was getting hit every time they tried to pass it. He was getting hit unless it was a screen. He was flustered out there. We got after him. We knew we had matchup problems for them up front. Whenever they did try to drop back and pass and try to block us, that didn't work. So What is happening to Justin Fields right now is what is happening, what we all said we were afraid of this season, that Ryan Poles did not get sufficient help for Justin Fields in the offensive line. That's what's happening. When you have a player from the other team saying, yeah, we had him rattled. We had him rattled. That's probably why there were only 11 pass attempts. So that's an issue. You know, when and the Packers have a good defensive line. They're probably one of the best the Bears will face. So hopefully this won't be a week-to-week problem. But when you have, again, the defenders, you know, saying, yeah, we were beating the shit out of them at the line of scrimmage and we could see, you know, Fields is nervous, then that's not good for your football team. You got a comment on that?
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned this last night, there was a play I specifically was watching the snap, and Mustipher, as soon as he snaps the ball, is thrown to the ground, and the guy right in front of him hits Fields. Like I said, I don't even think he got to the second step of his three-step drop there, and he's just annihilated. Braxton Jones, of course, is just a rookie. He's played 2 games, but he's given up, I think, 3 sacks to start. Mustipher seems like a weak link. Whitehair hasn't had a good season since Jay was still here. I mean, for real, he's been struggling that long. He's only here because of his contract. Let's keep it real. And then Borum hasn't looked that good. Actually, Jenkins has looked fairly well when he's been in there at right guard. I don't know. Like we were talking last night. I mean, you break your snapping thumb in late July. How long does that take to heal? Because I think the offense, it will behoove the Bears to have Patrick at center and to have Mustipher out of there, in my opinion.
There was one play where Kenny Clark, with one arm, like pushed Sam Mustipher, and Sam Mustipher fell like a 2-year-old kid.
That's got to be the play I was talking about.
Yeah, that was fucking awful.
And the fumble was on Mustipher too when he's pulling to the right, and it creates a bad snap. And you saw Fields roll his eyes. NBC caught it. I mean, that's on Mustipher.
Yeah. He did not have his best game, and I've seen improvements from him. Last week, I thought he played better, one of his better games of his career, maybe the best game of his pro career anyway. But against the Packers in that dominant defensive line, he did not play very well. Nomad is right. Borum was really bad in pass pro that night. Absolutely. All right, moving on to point number 6. This is, as promised, the goal line situation. This is Eberflus talking about.
You know, it's just push, you know, getting guys lower, getting pad level down, you know, and getting, you know, just movement at the point of attack. But we like to play. You know, it was a quarterback power play. We thought we outnumbered we did outnumber the point of attack there. And just a little more push, a little more pad level.
Why are you pulling your guard there? Did you see it? Rewind the play.
All right.
What's 62? Why is he pulling there?
It's just push, you know, getting guys lower, getting pad level down, you know, and getting, you know, just movement at the point of attack. But we like to play. You know, it was a quarterback power play. We thought we outnumbered we did outnumber.
It's a half an inch, man. Let's just go forward. Why are we playing finesse there? You got to play power there.
Yeah, I agree. And that was a power play. When you look at it frame by frame, you see that Fields was supposed to run behind David Montgomery. That's my guess. That's not what I heard or read anywhere. It's my guess that he was supposed to run behind David Montgomery. And if he would have done that, he would have been in. And then, as we talked about yesterday on Bears Country Podcast, Cole Kmet is supposed to help push him in. And if you look at the replay, Cole Kmet, it takes the guy who has got his arms wrapped around Justin Fields and starts bringing him back. And that guy then is bringing Justin Fields back. Come on, Cole, you're better than that.
Yeah,
Cole pushing forward.
Cole was tremendous blocking against San Francisco. I want to give him credit for that. He was helping out and chipping the rest of the game. I think that had a lot to do with him not catching passes.
Yep.
But, yeah, on that goal line, just everything seemed wrong. I think why not bring in the fullback and just do an I-fucking formation right there? And then you can either fake and run with Justin or just give it to Montgomery and just smash just go straight in. Montgomery's run basically 85 yards of this possession already.
Yep. Tooch, do me a favor, and if there's anyone in the chat room that is going to defend the play of Roquan Smith from Monday night, then let's see it after we hear Flus respond to the question on a particular play that Roquan fucked up on?
Yeah, he was good on that. I think need just more aggressiveness going downhill there, and that's really a play for all 11 of us on that one there.
You talked last night about
Being more aggressive. Yeah. How about playing with some energy? How about not loafing on that play? How about playing like a guy who wants to be the highest paid linebacker in football? And that's just one play for Roquan that he looked like a disaster. It looked like he had just finished fucking a bunch of porno stars and his legs were shot because he had been jizzing all over the fucking walls and in people's mouths and stuff. He looked awful that game. He was, Aaron Rodgers is a smart quarterback, and he usually targets the rookies, the guys he knows he's got a good matchup with. He was probably targeting Roquan too, because Roquan just had a disastrous game, in my opinion. Sloquan, yes, indeed, Nick. Do you disagree that Roquan looked like shit?
I thought he looked like shit against San Francisco as well.
Yeah, out of shape. He reminds me a little bit of Lance Briggs.
I said that last night. You remember when Lance was the Trustman and just seemed to just be out there and never made any plays whatsoever. And I don't want to call either guy fat, but in terms of their speed and athleticism and dexterity and all these great things that they had, it seemed like they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very similar, and they're playing the same position, which is ironic, but
Ryan Poles is looking smarter and smarter each week with the play of Roquan Smith. Roquan made a horrible mistake. Instead of holding in, he should have just tried to still negotiate his contract while working out every day with the team and having a good camp. So he's made a terrible mistake, and at this point, to me, he looks like the Bears won't even put the franchise tag on him. He needs to shore up, or he is gone. This will be his last season in Chicago. What does Jordan say here? It's just, for sure, don't give up on him, but his problems that have been there forever were exacerbated and magnified in this game. And Jordan is right. When Roquan Smith played at Georgia in that championship game, what did the opposing coach do? Ran the ball right at fucking Roquan, because he knew that was Roquan's weakness. Could not stop the run like Urlacher was, Jerome Bettis bowling over Urlacher and knocking the snot out of him. Same thing with Roquan. Roquan is more of that Brian Urlacher, sideline to sideline, can play kind of a deep safety. And if he's not doing that well, then he's
keep people out of his way. Mm-hmm. That's why Urlacher was so fucking phenomenal when we had Ted Washington and Keith Traylor in front of him, because it just kept bodies off of him. But when you have that big fullback coming at him, whether it was Klein, Saucer, or Schlesinger, or William Henderson, he couldn't get free.
Yep. Now, Dan, I'll ask you this question: who had a worse game on defense than Roquan Smith?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like everybody. Again, I didn't try to watch some kind of all 22 to break this down and look at me, I'm the smartest man in the bar room. I was like, that's not a shot at Chain. I swear on my mom's grave, that was not a shot at Chain. I was just being facetious. The point being, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that I know everything. All I can tell you is from watching it live, and I'm not going to watch it again. I'm just not. The whole front four couldn't make a tackle. The back is going to the second level every time they ran the ball. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
It's just the whole defense. It just couldn't. I'd like to think this is going to be their worst game the whole season.
Yep. And Jordan is right. Roquan tries to backdoor every play, refuses to stack and shed because he doesn't have the fucking strength to do that. He doesn't have. That's not his game. It's not his game. All right, here comes the next one from Matt Eberflus. The answer to my question, Dan, was Kyler Gordon.
Yeah, I just got done talking to him, and it's everything I say to every young player that I've ever played that's gone through these moments. There's going to be ebb and flow of the course of a rookie season, and that's the way it is. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with a guy that's rookie of the year or not. There's going to be those things, and what you tell them is, hey, take one experience at a time and put it in your file. You have to learn from that. So go back and look at all the plays that you made, all the plays that you want to correct, and then put them in a file, okay, and say, what would I have done, and put those to memory. and making sure you study those things and visualize those things as you go during the course of this week coming up so you can make those corrections, because a good pro doesn't make the same mistake twice.
I hope Kyler Gordon has a really good memory, because there almost every play he was out there for, he made some sort of mistake, and Aaron Rodgers noticed it and just said, okay, I'm going to go work on that rookie. You know that Jalen Johnson has not been targeted once all season. There has not been a pass thrown at the wide receiver Jalen Johnson has been guarding, because they're picking on Kyler Gordon. And the worst quarterback outside of Tom Brady to go up against a rookie who is having problems is Aaron Rodgers. He is going to feast on you, and that's the sad truth. Kyler's got to get his shit together.
I'm not so worried about Kyler, because he missed a lot of time in the preseason. Was banged up. I don't even know what his injury was. They just kept saying he was day to day. And it's his second game. It's his first primetime game ever. Remember, Donnell Wolford was so bad in 1989 that Ditka was calling him a bust to the press, and by like 90-91 he was our best fucking corner, and was solid for like 4 or 5 seasons. I'm not saying he's going to be bad all year like Wolford was in 89. I'm just saying, it was his second game. Let's give it. He's going to be better. It's his second fucking game. I just believe he was a good draft pick, and he will improve.
Yep. I agree with you on that. I'm not at all giving up on Kyler Gordon. I've seen enough college tape to know that this guy is going to end up being a good pro. It's just going to take a while. And where his head is at is going to be really, really important, because there's been a lot of pros who have been toasted, and then they come back at the cornerback position, and they come back the next week and still are in that rut. I'll give you an example. Kendall Vildor last year, his first half dozen games or so forth, they were good. They weren't great, but they were good. And then after he got burned a couple times, his season went downhill, and hopefully he's recovering from that. All right. Big fucking moment in the game. It's 2nd down and 28. Second down. No, this is the Packers have the ball. It's 2nd down and 28. And our fucking defense ends up giving up 20 yards and then 9 yards to get it. And so this was Flus talking about the 2nd down and 28 moment.
In the 2nd and 28, yes, we got to do a much better job there. And he just got to hammer it back to the defensive line. The defensive line can't jump on that. They got to keep their feet on the ground, raise their hand up to knock the ball down, but they got to what we call out of the stack and plant and go. And, if we do a good job there, it's probably a 5 or 6 yard gain. Yeah, they both jumped. So when you jump up in the air, you can't move, right? So you got to make sure you can plant, point, and drive and get out of there as quick as possible, because those plays hit quick.
Now, I could have set that up a little better. When he said he's got to come in and jam, he was referring to linebacker Nicholas Morrow, who was late getting there to try to make that play and then ends up getting blocked. If he goes in there earlier and jams the play, then other players can come in there and make the play. Huge fucking play. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, we got him 2nd and 28. There's no fucking way they're going to get a first down. We'll get this ball back. I think it was 10-7 at the time, and we can score some points and at least tie up this game. But no, fucking Aaron Rodgers and his Packers team pick up 29 yards on a 2nd and 28, utilizing all 3 of their downs.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
Well, I was just saying fucking pathetic. I was going
to say there's been 2 pass plays predominantly used in the last 30 years, regardless if it's Mike Holmgren as coach or Mike McCarthy or the little boy from the Wizard of Oz that we have now, who would be like 3-75 if Rodgers wasn't there. But they talk about how good of a coach he is. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, all of these guys have been utilizing the same routes, and the Bears can't we can't do anything, but we're poor, pitiful Giants. Unable to defend it. One is that one, the little fucking screen to the left, when suddenly you've got linemen pulling, and you've got 2 wide receivers, or at least a wide receiver and a tight end, all coming at you on the left sideline. The Bears never have an answer for that. And then the other is that slant. They never get out in front of the slant, ever. They've been slanting us to fucking death. It's a slow, painful death. I don't know why we can't stop the slant, but they have been doing it literally my entire life. You can go back and watch the 92 Bears, and Brett Favre's doing that to us in 92.
Yeah, I agree. it started with Bill Walsh doing it against the Bears and against every other team. And but it seems like the Bears do a terrible job at defending the slant. All right. My last of the 10 points that I had, of course, the run defense by the Bears was fucking pathetic. I've got Eberflus talking about it. And Jordan, if you're still there in the chat room, help me. Well, really, just fucking tell me what he's talking about here, because he's using a lot of fucking football terms and it's a little hard for me to follow what he's saying, but here it is.
I think it's the cup. So one thing we talk about is the cup on the defense. So that's your force player, your pursuit players inside out, and then the apex player, that's the defensive back that's working inside out. If he's the middle safety or if it's the corner, he's outside in. So you're really putting a cup on the ball. And I think our angles have to improve, So I think our angles were off. If you watch the tape, we were overrun a little bit, and then they were cutting back and getting some hidden yards. I think that happened a few times, and we have to improve on that. So that's the fundamental things that we've been teaching since day one. We just have to keep getting better at those things.
I think I know what he's talking about. The cup, you want to kind of have that pocket of defenders, and you want, your safety to play one particular angle. If he's the key guy, you want your outside cornerback to play one particular angle. So I sort of get it, but this has got to get cleaned up, because if not, every fucking week, if the team has a good running game, they're going to fucking win time of possession. They're going to fucking score on the ground, and the Bears offense will rarely be on the field. You know that the Bears ran on offense like 20 fewer plays than they did against the 49ers the week before, which is another fucking concern. You got to run a lot of plays on offense in order to score a lot of points, unless you have, a Kurt Warner, LA Rams or St. Louis Rams type of offense, the greatest show on turf. And that's not what the Bears have right now. Are you concerned, Dan, about this run defense moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, how could you not be after that performance? That's like the worst performance in like 10 years from the Bears defense against the run, easily. We were talking about some last night, like the Cedric Benson game in 2009 and Bettis in 2005, but I can't think of anybody else that just steamrolled them the whole fucking game the way Green Bay did Sunday night. It was demoralizing.
Right.
Just as a fan, let alone if you were wearing the white and navy. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about everything. Mm-hmm. Just a couple of sides that this is going to sound like whining, but all fucking night, I'm talking like 3 different times, I saw their left tackle rise up a full half second before the ball was snapped. Not one time was there a false start called on him. The right tackle's holding all fucking night. I didn't see any penalties except the one they threw and then picked up because Rodgers ultimately got sacked. But what the fuck? Make us decline the penalty. What are you doing? When it's in front of everybody, why would you pick up the flag? Mm-hmm. It's like, so you got one tackle that can raise early. The other one can hold. Well, no shit. They have a good advantage there then, don't they? When it comes to actually running the ball. But not to say that they wouldn't have had similar success, but it is something that's worth bitching about. Mm-hmm. And what the fuck? Pat O'Donnell with a 70-yard punt or whatever. He couldn't have gotten over 48 with the Bears. Goes to Green Bay, of course, launches like an 80-yard punt.
Yeah, I agree with you.
God damn it, man.
Oh, Lord. Thank you, Jordan, for your explanations on the Cup defense. It's basically gap responsibilities, man. And it always comes down to gap responsibilities, doesn't it? All right. I want to talk about the one other thing that I found. I didn't do the whole media mashup like we always do because it was. I yesterday, after the Bears lost, I didn't want to even turn on NFL Network or ESPN. I stayed away from local radio. I didn't want people to tell me what I already know, that was pathetic and we looked awful. So I stayed away from that. Today, I browsed around and I found something that I thought was really interesting and pertinent to the conversation I want to have with you and our listeners and with Tooch when he comes in and anyone else. Justin Fields. There's a lot of people now down on Justin Fields. They're wondering whether he is really the franchise quarterback. Have we been excusing too much of his play? And on the Bernstein and Holmes show, Dan Bernstein brought up the topic, and he and Lawrence Holmes had a very good discussion. This runs 5 minutes.
By the end of last year, in the totality of Fields' season, I found it easy to make excuses for him. I found it easy to say, well, look at this and look at these tight windows, and I look at next-gen stats and all of what he was asked to do to fit the ball into places that others weren't, and, well, it's Matt Nagy, and these guys are going to put him in difficult positions. And
but hold on, Dan. That's valid.
Some of it is. It also was, I think, it blinded me to some things that we're still seeing that are...
Science!
Science! He's not comfortable. He's not poised. He's not comfortable. And it doesn't look like he's ahead of things, like he's in charge. He's still reacting. The game is still doing things to him rather than having him do things to the game. And it's unfair to hold Aaron Rodgers out there against, like, look at what this guy's doing. He should be that. That's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. It is one of the best manipulators of all time.
What have I been saying for the last 6 months? I want the same developmental arc for him that we saw with Jalen Hurts. And people got mad at me because they're like, he's better than Jalen Hurts. And I think that there probably is more raw material.
He should be
there.
better than Jalen Hurts.
But all I'm saying is the leap that Jalen Hurts took from year 1 to year 2 was significant. And that I wanted to see Justin Fields do that. Through 2 games with still almost a full season left to play, I have not seen that. I continue to see what you're talking about, where it is a guy that doesn't look comfortable. Now, how much are we allowed to give him as a mitigation? Are we allowed to even say, look, this is a new system with bad players? If we all can agree that there's a ton of bad players here, how much can we really rain down on Justin Fields when we know the tackles are probably bad and your players on the perimeter are not great?
That's what we need to figure out on the continuum between quarterback and receivers and openness and the idea of what constitutes open. Timing is accuracy. Accuracy is timing. Absent timing and accuracy, it's hard to define a reasonable amount of open. And yet, if there is no separation and no suddenness down the field, and he doesn't trust his tackles, it's fair to wonder if those things can ever be properly defined. I just think that I defaulted too hard to probably looking at him through rose-colored glasses last year, and I don't want to do that because I know that Ryan Poles isn't. The people that matter aren't. And Poles may already be like, I'm done with this guy. Let's do the best we can, and then we're going to have to get a quarterback in here.
When we go back to the offseason and the preseason, there were a lot of Bears fans who I think rightfully were angry about the lack of dollars spent on the offensive side. I was texting with Olin. He heard me talking about Brisker and Gordon and how much I like him. And he's like, there should have been more attention paid to the offensive line. And he's right. I mean, I like both of those players, and I think they're going to be here for a long time, but I get that too. Don't we have to put that into the stew as well when we're discussing this, that he's walking out there naked? Like, there's not a lot of help, and there's not a lot of help coming. And one of the things I wrote down when we were talking to Ann about that and the development of Justin Fields is, are the Bears worried that they might miss an opportunity? Like, let's say that they are judging Justin Fields on what it is that we're seeing throughout this season, knowing that they're going to ramp up their spending and have more draft capital next year. Are you missing an opportunity to really know what he is as a player by playing him with a group of guys that isn't really strong? Could you miss on the evaluation?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you probably could.
As long as there's
no
aware
absolutes
of that.
in this.
No.
Because without having at least one part of our criteria grounded in something we're sure of, everything else kind of floats. And I don't think there's any way of knowing you absolutely get it right. I really don't.
I'm excited to see him versus Lovey next week. I think it's another opportunity for a data point and evaluation. This is our defense. This is the defense that you see practicing every single day.
Nice job, I think, by Dan Bernstein and Lawrence Holmes. That's his name, right? Yeah.
Doesn't Bernstein sound like he would be just the biggest fucking snob?
Yeah. Aaron Curran said that in the chat. He says Dan Bernstein sounds like a fucking prick. He is.
He does, man.
Everyone that has worked with him has said that about him. He's a fucking insufferable asshole, but he's entertaining to listen to. He reminds me a lot. I said this from the very beginning when I first started hearing him on the Score. He reminds me of like Chicago's version of Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell was internationally famous, but he was also hated by 75% of the people who watched him, listened to him on Monday Night Football, who followed his boxing broadcasts and so forth. And Bernstein is that guy. He's very, very interesting, very articulate, has some excellent thoughts, has some really terrible thoughts. But yeah, bottom line, he sounds like a prick.
I think you're way too generous in the comparison with Cosell, but that's just my opinion.
What'd you think about the meat of what they said? I think Holmes was spot on. Please go ahead.
I kept thinking everyone could be right. Maybe Mike Martz is right and I'm wrong. But I think somebody even said it in the chat room. I was already thinking this. It's not like I was stealing their opinion. Fields started 10 games last year, and that was with Matt Nagy. And he's 2 games into this system, which, as Jay Cutler would tell you, like changing your offense every year is like trying to learn a new language in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Like quite literally, like rushing to try to not only be fluent, but an expert in a new language in one offseason. It's not easy. I don't want to seem like I'm an apologist for Fields here, but I mean, slow down a little bit. He started 12 games total and 2 games in the new offense. It's week 3. Mm-hmm. Do we want him to show more successful splash plays and things that you can point to say, yeah, this is the guy, this is our guy? Yeah, of course we do. But he showed some plays in week 1. Mm-hmm. He had some moments in week 1. Week 2, he struggled. A lot of quarterbacks have struggled against Green Bay in prime time. Not trying to excuse him. It is disconcerting. But again, it's week 3. It's week 3. In theory, if he stays healthy by week 7, week 8, week 10, we'll see progress. Right? We're going to see progress.
I'm totally with you. I think anyone, and there's been a lot of people on social media who are trashing Justin Fields. And there's a lot of people in the chat room who have come here and said Justin Fields. There was one guy that I blocked because he called Justin Fields a punk. And that sounded to me like it was racially insensitive. A lot of black people have been called punks for decades, and you don't come here to the bar room and call any black man a punk. In fact, you shouldn't call anybody a fucking punk. That to me is unacceptable. So I blocked him, and you can't make a judgment on a young football player this quickly, particularly given the circumstances around him. Brand new coaching staff. The first year's coaching staff was awful. I don't care what you say. They were awful. And then the fact that the season is so early, and yes, there have been some mistakes, give him time to grow. Now, Jalen Hurts, I think, is an excellent example brought up by Holmes. By the way, I hate to brag, but I wanted Jalen Hurts to be drafted by the Chicago Bears so fucking much. That was the year that we had 2 draft picks. We drafted Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson in round 2. We didn't have a first rounder. And I was hoping that they would take a shot at Jalen Hurts, because I am of that theory that you should be drafting a quarterback every year or every other year, or at the very least every 3 years, and have a good, competent or potentially good, competent quarterback in the pipeline, and the Bears bypassed Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' rookie season was awful. And his second season showed some promise. And now this season, he's being fucked. He looks like a fucking god. And that's the way I grew up watching quarterbacks, that it takes time for them to develop. And I know that the rules and strategy have changed, and we've adapted, we being the NFL coaches, have adapted more schemes and plays from college football to make that acclimation period shorter for some quarterbacks. But still, you shouldn't expect a quarterback in his rookie or even sophomore season to come in and play great. Jalen Hurts right now is playing pretty good fucking football, and his future looks pretty fucking nice. Justin Fields, I believe, can be better than Jalen Hurts and among the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. We just shouldn't rush to judgment on him. Let's give it some time, guys. I mean, we've been complaining about bad offensive line, not enough receiver help, and yet we expect Justin Fields to correct everything with his magnificence. That's not fair to him.
And you were talking about quarterbacks in the pipeline, and just go back to Bears history. Think about it. They win the Super Bowl with McMahon and Tom Zach and Fuller, right? And then Ditka loves Doug Flutie, loves Flutie in '86. So he brings Flutie in. So now you got 4 quarterbacks there. Granted, McMahon's hurt. And what do? They draft Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. So again, Harbaugh kind of plays a little bit in '88, a little bit in '89, but by '90, it's his turn. So you had the guy in the bullpen. Like you were saying that, like, okay, if Tom Zach can't get this done, if McMahon doesn't, get the job done, we don't know what we have with Flutie, but, down the road, we've got Harbaugh. You're right. We haven't seen that in a long time with the Bears.
Yep. Well, Tooch, let me know when you're ready to pop in here, because we want to hear about the Bears' state of affairs. I know you've got a clip you want to share, particularly with Dan Aguirre. So let us know when you're ready to pop in. I could just say this regarding Justin Fields, to just put a bow on it. Let's be patient with the guy. Let's please be patient with the guy.
Let's not run him out of town, for fuck's sake, man.
I even saw people, like, he said something after the game that, the Bears fans don't put as much into it as the Bears players. And people were, starting with David Kaplan and a bunch of other people were saying, he's dissing the fans. He wasn't dissing the fans. He was just expressing his frustration that, the Bears players put a lot of fucking work in their week and that they're frustrated. I understand. I mean, I've been saying for years that we fans suffer as much as the players. And we do. But I don't expect Justin Fields to know that. I don't expect any of the players to know that. They're in their own world, focused on their own things, and that's cool. Does he know that Dan Aguirre is going to fucking literally cry after a Packers? Does he know that I have literally cried dozens of times after a Bears loss in my lifetime? No, he doesn't know that. Does he know that we spend hours and hours every week talking about the Bears, thinking about the Bears, reading about the Bears, watching video, TV shows about the Bears, anything that we can consume about the Bears, we do. I don't expect him to know that. He's a young man. The only things that he should be thinking about right now is football and pussy. And
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, you know what normally cheers me up after a bad loss like that? You guessed it. Pussy. But yeah, man, there was none around.
I love that man.
There was none around on Sunday night for me. It was just I went to fucking sleep. I went to sleep probably an hour after the game. Between that Cunningham guy on WGN with this, like, I'm waiting on Dan Hampton because I want the old Ed O'Branovich to start screaming, and all I keep hearing about is how those Latinos. God damn it, those Latinos commit so many crimes and shit. I'm like, is this real? Like, why is this on right now? Like, can't he have right wing hour any other fucking night except after the Bears game? Yeah, after the game's over, can we cut his show?
I can't believe that WGN did not renew Ed O'Branovich and Dan Hampton.
No, they did, but it started like fucking 45 minutes after the game. They just kept Bill Cunningham on to the point it made me so depressed I just went to bed. I didn't even beat off. I wish I could have beaten off and then gone to sleep. I drank some fucking NyQuil and I went to sleep. I was like Chris Farley in that old SNL bit. If you remember, you drink NyQuil, then you wake up with a beard because you've been asleep for 2 days or whatever.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that news report today that it's become like a social media thing? They show somebody cooking chicken in NyQuil, and that it's now become a thing, and people, particularly young people, are doing it and eating it, and it's pretty fucking dangerous thing to do. And so they've had to issue warnings, don't do this, which is...
Why would anyone do that? First off, I don't like chicken anyway. I'm the only person in America that hates chicken. But why would you mix it with NyQuil?
The reason why is they're trying to get hits and clicks and make a video go viral so they can make a little change on the side. That's the only reason somebody would do something like that. Jeremy says he couldn't sleep after the game either. I had a hard time sleeping. I had a hard time thinking. My mind was going everywhere. Don Burr is there saying Detroit versus everybody. Yeah, Don, where the fuck were you last week when the Lions got their asses kicked by the Eagles? So he's coming on here talking about the Lions' victory over Washington. And I feel so bad for Ron Rivera. So fucking bad for him. First of all, he's working for the worst organization in pro football. The Daniel Snyder football team is the absolute worst organization. He deserves a much, much better fate. I would have loved for him to be the Chicago Bears coach in 2022 and beyond, because he's a good man. He's got a good football sense.
Love he read it out of town, though.
Yeah, that was so sad. Lovey,
like, I don't want my replacement here. Let's get rid of old Ron.
Right. He wanted his buddy, Dan, what was it called?
Bob Babbage.
Bob Babbage, thank you. He wanted his buddy in, and he wanted Ron out, who would challenge him at meetings as opposed to embracing differences of thought. Lovey didn't want that, and Ron was forced out. It's so sad. I love Chico too, Tua Hung. We're going to have Tua Hung and Laz and a bunch of other people on the show. Michael Henneman says, same here, Aldo. Yeah, I'll drink to that. So Tucci will be joining us shortly. Anything else regarding this Bears game, this Bears loss against the Packers that you want to get off your chest? Were you happy with the announcing in the game?
Well, I thought, again, to give Collinsworth a little bit of credit, he did a couple of times. It almost come across as patronizing, but I think he was trying to be pro-Bear to an extent. He was saying that, these Bears are starting to believe in this coach, and they're young, and by next season, they're going to be someone you have to contend with. He said that several times. Mm-hmm. So I'll give Collinsworth credit for just not going in and immediately saying, Aaron, pull down your pants. I'm going to suck the fucking life out of your fucking cock right now. Like that's normally what he does. He just, for hours and hours, he's fawning and just clearly beating off in the studio. It's just, or the booth, but they got a little loose in the fourth quarter. It kind of felt like Collinsworth and Tirico had been drinking. They started joking with Melissa Stark on the sideline about being late to meetings. And she's like, what are you talking about? I haven't been late. What are you talking about?
That was so weird.
Yeah, they were laughing, and she was like, what are you saying, guys? I'm just new to the staff. I've not been late. What are you saying,
By the way, Brianna Chase is becoming the hit in the chat room with her comments. Brianna, we love you too. By the way, Dan, do you remember this?
I don't mean any disrespect to actual cocksuckers, but Rodgers is a fucking cocksucker. Ask Kevin.
Who the hell is Kevin?
Kevin's his lover, remember?
Oh, that's right. Like his roommate.
Yeah.
And then when Aaron left Kevin, left being his roommate, Kevin went on social media and started saying things that made it seem like they were more than roommates.
No, they were together, man. He said that Aaron was supposed to come out when Michael Sam was drafted.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it said that Aaron, told him like that whole offseason he was going to tell everybody that they were a couple and that he meant the world to him, and that Michael Sam come out, he was going to support him. It'd be like such a big thing for gay people. And then when he went against that, the Kevin guy's like, what the fuck? So Rodgers ghosted him.
Wow. So
yeah,
were you upset? I was, and I hate to sound like an old fuddy-duddy here, but sometimes I am. The Packers score a touchdown. All the players get into a circle. Lazard, who scored the touchdown, starts pretending there's something in the football and passing it and pouring into the players' hands. They sip it, and then I saw Rodgers doing this, like he was like turned into a butterfly. And what I read on social media is that they were pretending that they were sharing ayahuasca with everybody.
Wow, God Almighty! I've thought for years, like the last 4 years, the defense can all like celebrate, run for the camera anytime there's a turnover, which I find annoying, but whatever. But before that, you weren't allowed to fucking celebrate at all. And they've been letting the Packers jump into the stands for 30 years.
Right.
Nobody else, remember, TL just signs a football. Oh, that's a penalty. You can't have a Sharpie. You can't go get the cheerleaders' pom-poms. All the shit that, like, Chad Johnson, you can't do that dance. But the Packers fans can the Packers can run and jump in the stands, and that's never been penalized.
Yep. I don't understand why the league hasn't said, listen, you're glorifying taking a illegal substance. You should be fined for that celebration. I don't understand that. Let's see what Foster says about that. Aldo is so old, he played dice for Christ and Robes. Yeah, I was there, man.
I don't want to play into a stereotype of a liberal that always calls everything racist. But I think there's a degree of racism with the drug stuff, man. I feel like if it was a black player that came out and said, I took this hallucinogenic in the off season, that there would be some sort of investigation and a fine, or at the very least a suspension. But the golden boy does it, the white savior, and it's okay. It's okay for the white guy to do it. Again, if I feel like if that's a black player, then they're gonna be like, oh, well, see that leads into a big can of worms there, doesn't it? And it just turns into like a stereotype, and Goodell's immediately going to find that person.
Yeah, I would, I agree with you. I agree. There's different tolerance levels for certain people and certain players. I do think that if it was a superstar player, no matter what color, that they might allow them to get away with that. But if it's what if that's Lamar Jackson? Yeah, guy's been an MVP in the league, still probably not a superstar. Like right now, if he retired, you wouldn't say, oh, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I'm just saying, but what do you think? GCA says, oh, stop, Dan, that's such BS. And then following that is Nick saying, I agree with Dan. So it is a divisive.
I'm not saying anything to try to be controversial in any way. That's my honest opinion. And people can disagree with it, and I have no malice toward that at all. I just find that the league loves this fucking guy. If I wasn't a Bears fan, I could still see that because I'm an NFL fan. The league loves this guy. Peyton Manning was the same way. He could do anything he wanted. He was getting HGH. They didn't give a fuck, man. They went after the source and said, oh, that's Al Jazeera. You can't believe Al Jazeera. I mean, fuck, they're Arabs. But Al Jazeera USA breaks the story where he and his wife were smuggling in HGH, and his fucking forehead's bigger than the size of the studio I'm in right now. And it's remember Barry Bonds, though, they're like, oh, look at his head. Look at his head's changing, and his feet are bigger. And they're analyzing everything about Barry, but no one does the same thing to Peyton because Peyton's the great white hype.
Great point. Great point.
To this day, I hear people say, "Oh, Barry Bonds' record's not even a real record. It's not McGuire's and Bonds' don't matter. It's Roger Maris's record." How do you say that? I mean, yeah, Barry. To me, Barry's the guy that has the single season record and the all-time record. He broke Henry Aaron's record. I'm sorry, he did. Whether you like him or not.
I'm with you, brother. By the way, there's a guy named John Santucci that we're going to bring in now. There he is, looking lovely as always. His microphone is muted. He's asking me to wait a second. That's probably because he's farting right now.
Yep. I gotta roll the intro. About to A. Whitney Brown all up in this motherfucker.
That's nice, man. I like it when you do that. It turns me on.
Here we go. Bears state of affairs. Week 1. Club Hydroplane Week 2 Ayahuasca Nightmare.
Well done.
The sky is falling for Bears fans.
I've got a station off there. I'll be back in just a second. Sorry to interrupt, Tooch.
Okay, you're going to miss my bit.
Yeah, I'm going to miss your bit.
Unhappy players without new contracts, or Roquan doing Roquan things. Komet and Mooney only 2 catches for 4 yards, and Jalen Hurts was drafted 10 players after Cole Komet. Damn you, Pastes!
Yeah.
Taking a quarterback in the draft every year, my ass. Fields, 28 pass attempts in 2 games. That makes him 33rd in the league. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks, by the way. Let Russ cook.
Nope.
Bears won't even let Fields make a PB&J. Or if you're Jordan Silvera, it's PB and mayo. Shotgun on the goal line. Was Matt Nagy at the game? Bears fans' heads exploded all over Twitter. Can we recover in time for Lovey? Bears fans, I know it's the Packers, but it's just one game, and we got 15 more, and that is Bears state of affairs, and McGuire will have to rewind the tape.
Oh, you're good at numbers, so now you think you know football. That's adorable. Another 100 proof reference there. Yeah, I blame Pink Floyd, Aldo. It's that fucking "Wish You Were Here" song. Every time that comes on air, it sets off our alarm.
Really?
It's so fucking low in the beginning. The fucking alarm system thinks the station's off air.
Dan, you missed my A. Whitney Brown imitation. But hey.
I do apologize that, I'm at work. I had to rectify that. But again, it wasn't even off air. It's just that goddamn Pink Floyd song.
Mm-hmm. Pink Floyd throwing a monkey wrench in the show, Aldo. It's the shirt. You had to wear the damn shirt.
I love the shirt. I love that album. I love listening to that album. I did LSD once. I think it was one of the. I don't remember for sure if it was the first time I heard the album or the second time I was on LSD. And when those fucking clocks start going off, I was like, "Holy shit! What the hell is going on here?" Yeah. I'm tripping, man.
Great album for that, and Doors, "L.A. Woman," also another good album for all that.
The Doors, my second favorite band of all time.
That's my favorite classic rock band, without question. The Doors.
Yeah, man.
I even have the 2 albums they cut without Jim after Jim died. Other Voices and Full Circle, which were not exactly good. I'm sorry to say that, but the late great Ray Manzarek on vocals. Do
you like the Oliver Stone movie, guys?
I love it. Yeah. I read Robbie Krieger's book last year. He was going like line by line for all the things that weren't accurate in it. And
probably a lot, right?
Yeah, he explains a lot of stuff in it. Like I said, things that didn't happen. And he was trying to offer like Oliver's perception on why he put those things in. Like he didn't have a animosity toward Oliver Stone as much as Ray did. Mm-hmm. Like Ray, like he said, Ray and Oliver kept getting arguments to our Oliver. It's like, fuck you, get off the set. I don't care. He said that's why Kyle MacLachlan's performance was a bit affected in terms of how his realism of playing Ray, because Ray was supposed to help Kyle, but he kept fucking with Oliver like he was directing the movie and got kicked off the set.
Ooh, wow. Didn't know that.
His book was really in depth. And one of the funny things that I retained is Jim got syphilis in like 1968. And Jim was like, thought it was so cool. He's like, he's going to be like one of the old school guys from like Spain in like 1600. He said, that's how I'm going to die. He's like, I'm not going to treat it. I'm going to let it make me go mad. And he said about 4 days of having painful pisses, Jim was running to the doctor and begging for medicine.
Holy shit. That's wild. Tooch, did you like that movie?
Yeah, it's great. I like anything Oliver Stone pretty much.
Yeah,
go ahead.
One more Doors thing. Did you ever see that performance they did on the Smothers Brothers show where Robbie has a black eye?
No.
Well, anyway, that was a subject of like so much like, why did he have a black eye? You know, that, and it was so wild. He explained it in the book. They got into a car crash and a woman was actually paralyzed. Mm-hmm. And she sued Robbie, and Robbie was still paying this woman for like 30 years because of this car crash because she got paralyzed with him driving.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah. So his black eye was because he was in a car crash.
Holy shit, dude.
Playing with my drop.
Well, today, Devin Hester has announced Devin Hester's nominee for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2023.
That's
feel
right.
Good about that.
Nine guys who have played with the Bears either their entire careers or a portion, like Muhsin Muhammad is nominated, and Jared Allen. I don't give a shit about those guys. The four that I want to get in are Olin Kreutz, Devin Hester, Lance Briggs, but number one on my list, even above Devin Hester, is Charles Peanut Tillman, because I think he is one of the most underrated defensive backs in NFL history, and is definitely in this historic franchise over 100 years of playing in the NFL. The Chicago Bears have never had a better cornerback than Peanut Tillman. I would love to see him go in first. I'd love to see Hester go in second. I'd love to see both those guys go in the same year, and then follow that up with Olin Kreutz. Briggs, okay, fine.
I would like to see Devin go in first, and maybe it's so trivial of me, but the Steve Smith game, just seeing Peanut eaten up for like 250 yards receiving. I'm slightly exaggerating, but Devin like changed and revolutionized that position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times did you hear you can't kick it to Devin? You can't kick it to Devin, and 2 touchdowns in a game, and just unbelievable. The only guy to ever start a Super Bowl with a kickoff return for a touchdown. The game, and just unbelievable. The only guy to ever start a Super Bowl with a kickoff return for a touchdown.
That's an insta drop.
That's right. Yeah.
I think we have 100 proof.
I was wondering what the fuck that was. I was like, why am I hearing myself again? Did someone slip some shit in my Gatorade here,
Laz asked me about Steve McMichael. I would love to see Steve McMichael in the Hall of Fame, but he wasn't on that list of 100-plus players that was released today. So I'm not sure if his eligibility is over. And perhaps I don't know if in the NFL they've got a veterans committee. I don't know what's going on, but he wasn't on that list, because if he was, I would have definitely said yes to him. And
Mongo and Wilbur Marshall, and maybe even Otis Wilson to an extent, deserve a second look from those teams.
I totally agree with that. The Bears defense should have 7 guys off the top of my head that should be Hall of Famers. How many do they have now? They got Singletary, Dent. Hampton,
Peyton.
But of the defense, because I'm saying that 7 of the 11 starters should be in the Hall of Fame.
Did Finsick make it?
Nope.
So Gary didn't make it. So we got Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, and Dan Hampton.
That's it. Just 3. And McMichael deserves to be in.
Wilber's stats are better than most people's at his position.
Yes.
Same thing could be said for Otis Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, listen to what 4,000 Clovers has to say. If Joe Buck is in the fucking Hall of Fame, that's all I'm saying. What the fuck? I agree with you, 4,000. How can Joe Buck? This is Joe Buck Jr., not the dad, right? The dad.
Jack was amazing, I thought.
Oh, he was outstanding. He deserves to be on every Hall of Fame. Baseball, football, I don't give a fuck what he didn't call hockey. Put him in there too. Hockey broadcasting.
He made some weird comment, I remember, though, during the 90 NLCS that got him in trouble between the Reds and Pirates. Someone like Polish of heritage sung the national anthem, and Jack Buck said something about it came across as racist against Polish people. And this is in like 90, not today. Yeah. So he got a little bit of trouble.
Remember what he said? Did he use the word?
I don't remember what he said, but it was something that, like, ooh, you shouldn't have said that, Jack.
Yeah, you knew it immediately when you heard it that it was this is one of those, or did you upon reflection?
Upon reflection,
okay.
I was only 9 years old. When the game was live. So I didn't pick up on that so much, but rewatching it, it was obvious. I forget what he said, but it's one of those, like, I don't know if Joe Buck's ever had a comment like that, but his dad had a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
It was something about Polish people in Pittsburgh, and it was bad.
It's weird because back in those days, you could probably pretty much say anything and get away with it. Although I remember Howard Cosell got into
The Aldo Garrett thing, yeah.
Yeah, big trouble for that. By the way, Casey says throw Mike Brown into the Hall of Fame too. What do you guys think about that?
I love Mike Brown. I mean, I love Mike Brown, one of my favorite Bears of all time. Unfortunately, I think his injuries probably take him out of it. But if he could have had like 2 or 3 more Mike Brown years without those injuries, I think he's like first ballot. I mean, but I don't think he'll ever get in. And that's okay. You know, like as a Bears fan, if we at the new stadium, if we have like a Ring of Honor, his name should be up there.
I agree. That's one of the reasons I can't wait for this Arlington Heights new stadium, because they'll have a Ring of Honor. I'm sure they'll have a Bears Hall of Fame where we can go in there and see whether it's plaques or whatever commemoration they have of the great Chicago Bears. Yeah. We need that, you know. And
it was traveling. You know, the Bears 100th year anniversary. It traveled around. They had it set up at the was it the Rosemont Theater? I think was where the
was it nice?
Yeah, it's great. They had the busts, you know, 2 sides of the hall on either side, you know, encased in glass, nice displays and some memorabilia. It was really excellent. If anybody went to
these were Bears players who were in the National Football League Hall of Fame or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or was it just like Bears Hall of Fame guys?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah,
cool.
Both representatives from like Bears Ring of Honor and some of those, of course, are in the Hall of Fame.
Speaking of old school
really cool.
Bears, did anyone watch the Walter documentary on Epics?
Have not watched it yet. I've recorded that one and the John Madden one.
I watched both of them.
And
the Madden one's great. There's so many things I didn't know. Like, I always kind of like, how did he get turned on to this video game thing anyway? And like, that's explained. He was a school teacher before he was ever a coach. All these things, man. The Madden one was great. The Walter one is like, the only people that talk on it are Jared and Brittany. They're just his kids. That's okay, you know. Rich Eisen does the narration for both, but there's not too many things about Walter that they show or say that I didn't know already. The only cool thing I'll say was that they showed a lot of different clips of Walter, like from like, you know, 76 to like 93, like to 98. They were doing a great job of quick hits of like him getting asked the same question at different ages and stuff. Which was kind of cool, the editing with it, when you would see him at different stages of his life and the things that he would say. But for the most part, if you're a real Bears fan, you knew everything that they were talking about already.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with, I mean, at my age, I've seen just about everything about the 85 Bears and so forth. And so I'm very particular about watching something about those Bears, because it's like, okay, I've seen this movie before, even though it's a new thing. So I'm a little reluctant to watch that Walter thing. And based on what you're just saying, I think I might skip it. I might want to watch the John Madden one, because there sounds like there's new material there.
Yeah, the Madden was great. The Walter one's not bad. I mean, it'll still make you cry every time they cover him dying. I mean, there's no way you'll get just teared up.
I should have watched that on Sunday night after the Bears lost, because that way it would have helped me flush away all of my tears.
I don't know if you ever watched the one I sent you called 85 that's got a bomb on the front. I was going to say that one's really good for even people that aren't Bears fans, because there's so many pop culture references in it that I thought that one was really well done. Even better so than the ESPN, the one that Vince Vaughn did the narration on. I thought that one focused on Buddy more than anything.
By the way, Michael Henneman just might have come up with the best joke of the night. To Don Burr, I heard Detroit has a Ring of Honor.
I had to put him in the timeout.
Michael. That is good.
Hey, to tie in Detroit with Chicago and what we're talking about, to this day, though, to be honest with you, had Barry Sanders broken Walter's record, I would have been okay with that. I think Barry was a sensational player, and I think Emmitt Smith was only good like the first 4 or 5 years when he had 4 Pro Bowl offensive linemen in front of him. And I think Emmitt's extremely overrated, and he had to play like 37 years to get that record anyway. And Barry retired when he could have gotten it if he just played one more year, and he walked away because he hated being a Lion so much.
Yeah, Don Burr, you hear that? Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders both quit on your franchise.
In their prime. In their prime.
In their prime. They could have been outstanding players for a long time. Nomad says I should do an Aldo Gandia documentary. By the way, man, last week was one of the busiest weeks I've ever had in my life because BB North, Mike North's wife, contacted me, and Mike's 70th birthday just passed up, and she said, hey, I want to just put some pictures together and put some music, some of Mike's. So me being me, I said, no, we got to fucking do a fucking tribute documentary thing. 15-minute long documentary about Mike's life. And while there's still, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to shit like that, there's still things that I would like to change. I'm really proud, though, of the way that it turned up. It's one of those things where you look at and you say, holy shit. First of all, I didn't know all this shit about Mike North. Fucking Mike North was making over $2 million a year in Chicago. He was the highest paid local sports radio guy in the nation. His fame was so big, he was hanging out with Hollywood celebrities like Warren Beatty and hanging out at the fucking Playboy Mansion. He was like fucking huge. And so in the documentary that I put together, this little 15-minute documentary, there's a segment on that turned out really cool. And the other segment that was really, really touching was his marriage to BB. I mean, Mike will tell you, Mike was a fucking hobo and he married, like one of the prettiest women in the United States. I mean, you look at these pictures of BB in her 20s and 30s and 40s and stuff, and she's like movie star gorgeous. And Mike will say, she's smarter than me, a hell of a lot better looking than me. How fucking lucky am I? And, I hope the Hollywood movie has stalled because of financing, and I hope it does come through because he really has an incredible life story that should be told, and his rise and his falls, because there's some stuff in his life that I'm sure he wouldn't mind a do-over on. But it was great. Maybe one day we'll show maybe at least a portion of it. The reason I can't show it all is that there's a lot of copyright music. A lot of stuff from the Doors and Elvis and the Rolling Stones, his favorite bands and stuff. So I'm sure if I were to play it here now, we'd get shut down. But
so the film's in turnaround then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Speaking in turnaround, Tooch.
Yeah, I got
I
got video for Dan.
Excellent.
And I'm so curious to hear his reaction because I know this video kind of speaks to Danny, so I'll roll it now.
Excellent.
No more Bears-Packers in prime time. And more appropriately, no Moss. I understand they have to play twice a year. This is what they have to do. We don't need to see that. Let's put them at 1 p.m. window and just let it roll. How many times do we have to see a nationally televised ass-whooping of the Packers over the Bears? If it's not Aaron Jones, it's Jordy Nelson, it's Antonio Freeman. It's the same game every time. You put it there and you think, great, Bears, Packers, it's Nitschke and Butkus, and it's a rivalry. No, it's not. It hasn't been for a long
Lambeau.
Time. No, I don't want to hear about Curly Lambeau. I don't. You think it's this Yankees-Red Sox thing. The Yankees don't beat the Red Sox by 12 runs every single time they play. It's a lot of great history between the Bears and the Packers. None of it is recent. Rodgers' margin of victory over the Bears in prime time is over 15 points a game. Favre's margin of victory was over 16 points a game. Look at the scoreboard, guys. It says 17 points. I love the Bears organization. They're working on some stuff. They're doing some stuff. In the meantime, no Moss. No Moss. And it would be one thing if the Packers just won all the time. It is a mercy rule boat race every time we watch the game. Rodgers just passed Drew Brees for the top 5 in passing touchdowns versus one opponent. Just some stat that nobody cares about. It seems great on paper. I'm asking. Who's our guy? Mike North, our guy? Yeah. I'm asking you, Mike, please, as a Chicagoan, but also as an American, we don't need to see that anymore. I would rather have Jaguars Jets. We've done the Packers Bears thing. If Rodgers leaves, let's talk. But until then, No mas. It's over.
Schedule maker. You're asking Park Avenue.
Yes, I am.
Howard Katz.
I'm not asking them. I'm telling them.
Demanding.
Especially
No one
considering
needs to see
how all the other games went yesterday, you could have blindfolded yourself and picked one of those games, and it would have been better to see on a Sunday night.
But it's a great rivalry.
Oh, it's historical. It's fantastic.
Oh boy,
it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm sure NBC got some of the best ratings they'll get the whole season.
That is true because Chicago Bears really tilt the ratings, and they're always good for the ratings. But eventually, if this continues, you got to wonder if anybody's going to be watching a Bears game on national TV.
Well, I mean, why does every primetime game is up there too? Like, goddamn, have some of them in Soldier Field and have the officials call the game straight, and then maybe you have a different outcome.
Tooch and I were talking about that before the game. Do you recall when the last nationally televised game was in Chicago with the Bears Packers?
Yeah, 19 when the season opened for the Bears 100.
2019.
And before that was 2010.
Okay.
Week 3. The first night they ever wore the blue jersey with the orange numbers from the 40s.
So the game where Trubisky throws interception to Adrian Amos in the end zone when they're trying to tie the game or go ahead
was the first one in 9 years. But every year in between that was at Lambeau in primetime.
Why has this got to happen to us, man?
The Bears have had like one, maybe two 1 p.m. or 12 noon kickoffs in Green Bay in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm. By the way, what happened to Don Burr? He's got a new face. Who is that? Is that
it? Ain't him. Not enough pimples.
You fucking asshole.
Maybe Dan Campbell drowned him.
that motherfucker's got 9 lives. It's like a fucking cat.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing, man. The Lions do have a lot of fucking talent. I can't wait to see how they fuck this up. I really can't because there's a lot of talent over there. You know. And what about? Go ahead, Tooch.
Yeah, you made a great point, Aldo, because that last clip that I wanted to show Danny, because we're always talking about stuff like this, it isn't fair that we're always up in Green Bay, almost always. I mean, that's the perception. That those hosts, I don't even know who that guy was in the red shirt, but that's the perception nationally, I guess. And maybe it's part of the reason why we get dumped on by national media is shit like that.
Mm-hmm. I think the guy you're talking about the guy who was talking, right? That's Kyle Brandt.
Yeah. Kyle Brandt. Okay. I didn't know. I couldn't remember his name, but
yeah, he's on NFL This Morning. That's his show. And I think he's becoming a star. I really do. This guy is really fucking good. And he's a diehard Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah.
But his star is rising. I think that I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is his last season at the NFL Network and he lands a CBS or Amazon or a lucrative deal because he's super, super fucking talented. I think he's being wasted on that morning show. The rest of the people, I do like. Somebody just said that the show is not the same without Kay Adams, but the new female that they have there, and I apologize, I don't know her name. I haven't put it to memory yet, but I think she's pretty good. The first couple of times I saw it, I was like, but she's really growing on me. She knows her football. She's got a great personality. She meshes in well with the other co-stars. I'm not a big fan of what's the guy's name? The guy that's closest to the camera. He's a longtime NFL reporter. Help me out, chat room. They also brought in one of the twins, one of the McCourty twins, and he's okay. He's still finding his footing on that show. Peter Schrager. Thank you, Turing.
Yeah.
Peter Schrager, he's okay. He's not great. He's a better reporter than he is a TV host. But that show to me, the NFL Network Good Morning Football show, is important to me because that's where I don't have to sit through baseball highlights and soccer highlights on ESPN Sports Center. It's all football. Peter Schrager, thank you. And so,
it wasn't Mike North, our Mike North that they were talking about. Just
thank you, dude, for mentioning that.
I thought it was. I'm like, and Uncle Mike straightened me out today. I was like, Uncle Mike, they're talking about your Good Morning Football. It's like, he was like, no, Tooch.
That's right. Mike North is the other Mike North is one of two of the schedule makers for the NFL. And so he needs to stop putting the Bears on national TV. If he's going to do that, he should put, it should be a Soldier Field game. I have the feeling that they put the Bears Packers in Green Bay because it's cheaper. The crew is cheaper. The meals are cheaper. The hotels are cheaper. So I think they do that to pinch pennies. But I've always loved it when the Bears were playing on national TV. Now, part of me is disheartened by the fact that we have gotten our asses kicked on a lot of national TV telecasts.
Not more than Kirk Cousins.
Oh my God. Did you see that performance yesterday? I mean, what the fuck is wrong with him? This guy's a veteran. He can't spot a wide open guy, or he's throwing the ball at Darius. Hey, Darius, here's the ball. What the fuck?
He's 2-10 on
Jeremy is telling me she has a nice rack. Come on, Jeremy. You're right, but come on. Hey, Dan, are you back? Dan had to go take a piss. So
now we got Lovey coming in.
We have Lovey coming in, but before we do that, I should wait for Dan to play this. Retro, right? Our man Retro. He is
I love Retro.
Managing our Facebook page. If you guys are visit Facebook, make sure you go over to the Barroom Network's Facebook page. It's managed by Retro. And so he's ready, willing, and able to engage in conversations with you about football. I'm going to play a videotape from Retro with some thoughts on the game. He's got a couple of questions for us, but I want Dan to be here because I think
I'm here.
All right. Hey, I got Retro submitted a videotape. He wanted to come on the show, but then he wasn't available at the time I asked him to. So he recorded his thoughts, and let's see what he's got to say. Oh, shit. Go to System Preferences, unlock the screen by selecting the lock on the bottom left corner. All right, hold on a second. Guys, talk amongst yourselves while
This Retro guy's too technical for me, Aldo.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to have to go. I was telling Jenny and them, I was like, man, as a guy, you all ever have it you have to piss so badly your balls start to hurt? Like if it was someone squeezing your fucking scrotum?
Or Danny, have you ever had to pee so bad you can't fucking pee? It's like
I haven't had that one.
I had that one time. I thought I was gonna die because I had hernia surgery, so everything was numb, And then after the surgery, they're like, "Hey, drink a bunch of juice." You just woke up, and you got to wait here until you go to the bathroom. I was like, "What?" You're just, I could not go because I was completely numb.
That's horrible. Thankfully, I've never had a hernia. I've never had a catheter either. I want to go my entire life without a catheter.
I had to get one. It was like screaming agony.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep. Not fun. Aldo's left, huh? I grabbed that clip, Danny, because when I heard that clip for the first time, I thought of you, and I'm like, this must be how Danny feels sometimes. But there he is.
Here's Retro.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on.
There it is.
Oh, there I am.
Sorry, Tooch.
All right.
Hold on, Tooch. I'm gonna get you back on here. Don't go away. I don't know if we'll be able to hear him. Let's see.
Week 2 saw your Chicago Bears.
Why is it so low?
Lambeau Field against their most hated rivals, the Green Bay Sons of Bitches. Packers.
Oh, I know it.
Aaron Rodgers. Boy, I like to fuck you up. Calm down, Aaron. I heard things. I didn't mean to get you excited. I was just saying, relax, like your hair, relax, take a cold shower.
Can you hear him okay?
No.
It's a little low.
You remember back in the VHS tape days when you randomly would record something you loved and it would play back really fucking low? It would just piss you. It would just ruin the whole movie. That's the way this fucking clip sounds.
Like Retro was like sitting in a room. The mic was like in the another room.
He's like, I'm going to make this retro like a VHS tape that you can't hear.
Retro broke out the reel 8mm.
You ever watch a porno movie in the room and the dialogue is like really, really low, and then you realize, who the fuck cares? I'm not watching this for the dialogue.
Oh man, when I was like at home, man, as a kid, you know, you'd have to turn that TV down all the way. You didn't want to give anybody a reason to think, is he watching porn? So that was like the best day if you missed school. If you missed school and you're in the home alone, that fucking TV, that porn was on like 50.
Yep.
Oh, when you could stress-free masturbate, like, oh my God, I would do it like 8 times a day. In like 9th grade, circa 9th grade, I'm the only one home. I'm going to beat off like 8 times before my mom arrives home from work. That's no shit.
Is there a surprise at the end of that retro clip?
Yeah. Well, I apologize to Retro, but he told me that it had some technical difficulties. Well, you didn't tell me that the fucking audio was like non-existent. So try again next week. Hopefully Retro can join us live because I'd love to have him on live.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to talk about Lovey, you know, because
he's in the chat room.
Betamax.
He got his Betamax player out.
You know, I had a Betamax, but the one format I never had was Laserdisc. Never had a Laserdisc.
Oh man,
it had a reverence for people that had the latest. It was like my uncle had one. You know, like he had all these like cool movies, like Laser. Wow, you know,
yeah,
they were like albums. They came in like an LP. You know,
that's right. And they had commentary tracks and
yeah.
Retro had commentary tracks, all sorts of really cool things. Man, I wanted one so fucking bad. And right when I could afford it, people were telling me, don't buy it, man. There's something else coming out called DVDs, and it's going to fucking take over these fucking laser. And I still wish I would have gotten the laser disc player because there were some impressions of some movies. Impressions are, you know, when they print them, that had extras and features that the DVDs didn't have. And for a while, I fashioned myself a collector of movies and so forth. And I wish I would have had these special films that would have had stuff that has never been seen before, but is what it is. I'm going to send Retro an invite. If he's in this, chat room, maybe
what was the other format that competed with Blu-ray initially? It was like HD, DVD, DVR, whatever. It was something that Blu-ray beat out.
It was HD TV. Yeah, HD.
I never had that one either.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
VHS, DVD, and now Blu-ray. Those have been my 3.
I had a beta too, though.
Did you like your beta?
I was like 6 years old, man. I was just glad I could watch it. I remember the tapes were a lot smaller than VHS. So I had the Return of the Living Dead on beta. I had it on VHS. I've had it on DVD, Blu-ray. I mean, it's one of movies I can watch 78 times and probably already have.
Return of the Living Dead. Is that the one with Polly? What's her first name? And Ving Rhames?
No, that's from 2004. This was much earlier. I watched it. I mean, it's from 1984. The one that I liked so much as a kid.
Who's in it?
I mean, you know, it's a low budget film, but like one of the guys in it that was in like a bunch of old westerns and shit that died recently. His name is Clu Gallagher. You know what I'm talking about?
Clu Gallagher.
Yeah, he's in Last Picture Show.
Yes, excellent actor.
He's the main star in the Return of the Living Dead.
Oh man, have I seen that one? I don't think I have.
Oh, it's fucking tremendous. Like it spawned a bunch of bad sequels, but the one from 1984 is I've seen it so many fucking times I can quote the dialogue.
Is that the one where the zombies are in a mall?
No. That's
Dawn of the Dead.
That's Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
That's a great fucking film.
Yeah.
Because that's a commentary on consumerism and how Americans love to shop. Even when they're fucking dead, they want to go to the mall and hang out. That was a great fucking movie. And there's this one fucking scary scene in there that I'll never forget. I was home all alone, and I'm in my 20s watching this, and there's this little zombie girl down at the bottom of the stairs of this dark hallway. She's looking up at the camera, and it's so fucking terrifying. I was like, I gotta turn on some lights here. This fucking kid has scared the shit out of me.
I just sent you just so you could see the photo, like the box cover of the Return of the Living Dead. I sent it to your phone.
Okay,
if you could just look at the one that I was trying to put over for you.
All right. Hold on a second. I want to play one thing for you.
I might have to drop some bourbon in that though.
I know. I was so busy doing my prep for the show, I forgot to pour myself a drink, Aldo.
Oh, what's wrong with you, man?
I know.
Get your priorities together.
Kids, getting the kids to bed and
Oh,
writing my material for. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I love that fucking movie. I mean, I love it.
You have the poster?
I don't have the poster.
It's a great ad poster.
The Punk Rockers in the Graveyard, is that like the same movie?
Yeah. There's a lot of punk rock music in it for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it looks good. I gotta check it out. All right, Lovey. We gotta talk about Lovey because this is huge for many reasons. Go ahead, to take this segment away.
Do we need to talk about the Justin Fields? The players have it worse than the fans. They're upset more than the fans too.
Yeah,
but if you guys want to talk about that too,
we broached it a little bit earlier. So
Right.
if you don't have anything to add, let's move on. Let's talk
fine
about
with
Lovey.
it. He's how old is Justin Fields, right?
It's 22, 23. Yeah, he doesn't know what we know. He doesn't know the suffering we've been through. Yeah.
He's a kid. And I'll tell you one thing, going over the line of scrimmage with the pass was like, he went over the line of scrimmage, should have known better, threw the ball anyways, should have ran with it. But man, I tweeted out right after that play, like, I love Justin Fields because he will do fucking anything to win, whether it's cheating or fucking, breaking some rules. He just wants to win, and that's the same thing with the comment as far as like, we work super hard, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't bother me.
I agree with that. I totally fucking agree with that. All right. I want to talk about Lovey.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dan, tell us your favorite Lovey Smith memory.
You're asking me first?
Yes.
My favorite Lovey Smith memory?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's hard for me to quantify, but it would perhaps when he become the first African American coach to go to the Super Bowl when we beat the Saints in the championship game. But I love Lovey's opening presser.
Exactly.
And he's like, the first thing we need to do, we're coming here, we're going to beat the Green Bay Packers. And he did. Second thing we're going to do, we're going to win the division, we're going to win the NFC, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Like the only thing you fell short on was the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. That was it, man. That's the correct answer when he said, my main priority is to first of all beat Green Bay. And that was absolutely correct. So,
or anytime he got mad at Brad Biggs, I enjoy him. He hated Brad Biggs.
Dude, you got anything to add about Lovey Smith?
I love Lovey, man. I didn't think he should have been fired at that, but people were talking about the run defense against the Packers. And that I had kind of like talked about this before about how like a hallmark of that style of defense is you can sometimes get gapped by the run and how they can be able to stop the run. Lovey's going to come in here and try and run the ball. In the next game, he saw the Packers do it. He's going to try and the Bears better buckle down on the run defense. And I made this for you, Dan, but it's really not the week for the great Getsy.
Yeah. By the way, the Robert Redford one was a lot better than DiCaprio's.
Great Gatsby,
the movie.
Yeah, I like the one from the 70s a lot better than DiCaprio's. And I love DiCaprio, but I thought the Great Gatsby from like 74 was better.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either of the movies, to be honest with you. And the book, I read the book by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I don't understand what the big deal is about the book. It's about some fucking rich guy who's spoiled. He's trying to get laid by another fucking rich. What the fuck's the point of the book? I don't understand. And I read the Cliff Notes too, and I'm like, still okay. Anyway,
well, in school it was a cool book to go over because it dealt a lot with symbolism and such. Like there was so much to convey. Like whenever his moods were down, he would wear all black and all this shit. So there was a lot of little analytical things to study in school that made you think critically.
Fuck Great Gatsby. Anyway, do you think that fans should cheer or applaud Lovie Smith when he returns to Soldier Field?
Standing O.
Cheer.
Standing ovation. I mean, not during the game. I mean, you don't have to show him reverence when the score is 14-7 or whatever, but when he comes out an hour before the game and they're about to go through their walkthrough, why not just fucking clap your ass off for him? I mean, he's been back once before in the rain game in 14. I was so hungover that day. I had tickets to see Bill Maher in the second row that day. The Bears beat Tampa in 14, and I vomited during the whole game like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Barely made it to the Maher thing. Still hungover, sitting there trying to laugh to Bill Maher, but Maher was in his prime then. But yeah, Cutler beat Lovie in 14. I think that's the only time he's been back was the once. I think the other one was in Tampa.
Jeez, I don't remember that game when he came back. So he was with Tampa, came back.
In the rain, yeah, and Jay beat him. We were down like most of the game, if my memory serves me correctly, and he threw some touchdowns late in the game to win it.
Don't remember that.
Yeah, we were wearing the blue and orange from the 40s again, I think, that day.
So what do you think about this game? Are you confident the Bears are going to win? I mean, when we looked at the schedule before the season, we had every one of us had this as a W.
Yeah, but that's when you're trying to just pick the schedule. I mean, it's not like I was pounding my chest saying, oh, this one's a layup here. Anytime you get added emotion like that and it's a story and it's the guy coming back to his former town, like that stuff matters in some instances. Ditka beat us with an inferior team in 97. Not that we were any good, but damn, the Saints team wasn't any good either. Mm-hmm. They beat us on Sunday night and we got them in 99, thankfully. But Lovey's 0-2, man. He knows that. And he wants to come in and beat us with his shitty quarterback who has better stats than our shitty quarterback that we think is good. And I hope is good. I'm just being sarcastic. So, yeah, man, I mean, if you told me Lovey won, I would think, oh, God, that's going to be horrible listening the rest of next week. But would I be surprised? No. But I hope it doesn't. I think what will happen is the Bears will probably find a way to win, and it'll be an ugly, shitty game, kind of like the Texans game with Denver on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson played terribly, but they were able to win it. And, yeah, the Bears have only beaten the Texans one time ever, and as Mike North would point out, that was with Mitchell Trubisky.
Poor Mitch. I think he's going to lose his job at Pittsburgh.
2 things that came out of the prevailing thoughts from again, I'm surrounded by Pittsburgh community.
Mm-hmm.
Trubisky, afraid to make a mistake. I've been hearing that a lot, and I'm like, yep, I believe that. Mm-hmm. And whoever this James Daniels guy is, he's fucking awful.
He is playing terribly over there. There's nobody.
They've all been just lamenting about how shitty James Daniels is.
This is, like I said, man, you can find a guard anywhere, dude. In the draft, off the street, it's a guard.
Don't get Aldo mad here.
I disagree with you.
Look for Quentin Nelson, right?
Well, no, I mean, I think it's hard to find the good guard. I mean, do we have good guards on this? Cody Whitehair is an average guard. I mean, are you satisfied with Cody Whitehair?
No.
Tevin Jenkins is looking promising as a guard.
Yeah.
Very promising. But it's not always that easy. I had this argument with Shane. Shane said, I could get you a guard anywhere. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. Hold on. Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl with 2 third-round, fourth-round guards. And I'm like, did they start? Were they immediate starters, or did it take a while to groom these guys? And all of a sudden, he doesn't say anything. It takes a while to develop good guards. And when you get a guy like Quentin Nelson, who's a plug-and-play guy and has got a fucking Go jacket already printed up with his name in Canton, you go after that guy. I'll always say that.
If he had fallen to 8, I bet the Bears would have taken him. Isn't that where we drafted Roquan? Was it 8?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
For
And
sure.
the trade proposal by Shane made to me is, okay, would you take Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson and trade them to Chicago Bears for James Daniels and Roquan Smith? And I said, absolutely. And Shane said, you're fucking crazy. Who's crazy now, Shane? So
I would have taken that any day.
They loved Anthony Miller too.
Yeah, a big time Anthony Miller. And I had high hopes for Anthony Miller too, but who the fuck knew that he was a fucking basket case?
Is he even in the league?
He is not in the league. I don't think he is.
He's on the Texans.
Yeah.
He
By
was
the
in
way,
the Texans camp for training camp.
yeah,
this
but I
year.
don't think he made the team. I don't know. I frankly don't know. Leatherwood, by the way, is waiting in the wings, but he's got an injury now or some illness. So he's on a 4-game IR list or some shit like that. So he's not going to be playing anytime soon. I think Leatherwood is a gamble by Ryan Poles. Look at Leatherwood's play with the Raiders. It's fucking embarrassing how bad he was. So I don't even know why Poles took a gamble on this guy. To me, Steelers IR, Jordan says about Alex
Anthony
Miller.
Anthony Miller is okay.
Yeah. And Cliff Victorious White. Whitehair will want a big contract. Well, Whitehair is in that portion of his contract where the Bears have an opt-out that will only cost him like $3 million. So Whitehair is gone after this year.
Absolutely.
My first appearance on Barroom was saying how I didn't like the Anthony Miller pick. I wanted Harold Landry, and I got killed by Phil and Shane for that. I was like, come on, we need pass rushers, you know? They're like, oh, but Anthony Miller is awesome. But
he has mono, according to people. Brianna Chase. Brianna, how do you know he's got mono? What's going on?
Inside information.
She's been kissing Alex Leatherwood. Hey, Brianna's been kissing Alex. Yeah, that's how you start rumors. He's drinking out of a public water fountain. All right, so I want to get back to this Texans game because here's what I think. And I haven't really studied the game, but just based on my gut feel is, all right, after the Bears beat the 49ers, everybody's thinking, oh, fuck, man, everybody underestimated this Bears team. Now, after the Bears lost to the Packers, everybody's like, oh, this fucking Bears, same old shit. They fucking suck. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to beat the shit out of the Texans, and we're going to be back on that bandwagon and say, this fucking team is going to the Super Bowl. Holy shit, man. These are the great. That's what's going to happen. Watch, because that's what happened. We as fans tend to overreact to what happened that game, you know, and then it's the old Janet Jackson song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? That's how we react to games. Now, nobody has confidence in the Chicago Bears. I still have confidence in them. I still believe Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback. I still believe that Equinemius St. Brown is going to have a breakout type season. I still believe in Cole Kmet. I still believe in Luke Getsy calling plays. I still believe. And I don't believe as much as I used to on Roquan Smith, and I'm a little bit worried about the defense. But I still believe that we could win.
Hearing Britney Spears in my head because of you. We're saying she still believes.
Cue it up, Tooch.
Oh, that song is so dreadful.
Which is your favorite pop music idol of all time?
Amy Winehouse.
Holy shit.
I would let Amy Winehouse take her HIV-infected blood and just smear it all over my fucking face, and we'll take our chances.
That's a drop right there, Tooch. Let's have that ready for next week. Amy Winehouse is so fucking sexy. So sexy. Is
Thank
that
you.
why
My ex-wife would beat me up over that, saying that you like ugly women, but me. She always say that, like, hey, oh, Amy Winehouse is fine, and then her sister would always jump in and be like, "Ew, Dan, ew." Like she can play piano, she can sing. She's amazing. Well, was amazing.
Yeah, great question from Joe as we switch back to football. If Monty goes off this year, does Poles pay him? Depends on how much it is. I mean, you just don't pay running backs big time dollars. But I know, when George McCaskey goes out of his way to praise David Montgomery, you better believe that he has had some talks with his general manager about the future of Montgomery with the Chicago Bears. And the fact that he is in a contract year and he didn't go the Roquan way, didn't hold out, didn't hold in, never talked about his contract. When he has press conferences, he's acting charming and goofy, and and then he goes out there and plays like he did against Green Bay. Man, they're playing Morgan Floyd.
Just fucking kill me, man. Between that and someone wanting Trevor Siemian to play, I'll be back.
What do you think, Aldo? The fans are calling for Trevor's the backup already. It's the Bears cycle of fandom. Bring in the backup.
Paul, you are so funny, man. That is the second funniest thing I read today. Thank you for making me laugh, Paul. It's just not going to happen. Listen, this is the year where you got to find out if Justin Fields is your quarterback or not. And it's too bad that he doesn't have enough weapons around him and or offensive line that you can say you've given him what you can.
Absolutely, Aldo.
Right. So, but you still can make an educated guess or not guess, evaluation on his play this year. So you got to start him every game, no matter what. And if Dan, move your microphone. You're killing me, man.
It sounds like he's shoveling a driveway.
He's taking a shit, is what he's doing.
What are you talking about?
When you come back, you're going.
I apologize, man. I had to go take care of the fucfucking Eagles in the other room.
I know, but use your microphone when you got all that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So, we were talking about Justin Fields.
It's a great point. Can we judge him fairly? I mean, there ain't shit around him. The offensive line has got issues. Exactly. He really just has David Montgomery.
Right.
I like Darnell Mooney, but and I gotta tell you, the play caller is kind of in a proven ground as well. It's like, you don't think Green Bay's defense knew how to stop fucking Luke Getsy?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so right. You're so right.
I was like, when I came, I gave out the play on Barfly Tailgate. Packers first half -6.5. And they were like, "You just shit on us," But I mean, like, look, the record of fucking LaFleur and Rodgers coming off a loss is like 14-1 against the spread. They don't lose 2 games in a row often. It's like, come on. I mean, this is a young team. They're just not ready. I mean, well, let's give them the season. This is going to be like, when you're making like pancake batter, you got to get all the fucking lumps out.
Yes. Great analogy.
This is what we got to do with the Bears this season.
Great analogy.
Like, we're just got to smooth it out, shit like that. But I gotta say, I mean, Justin Fields doesn't have a lot around him. He's got a play caller who's doing it for the first time. And then you had the Green Bay knowing what this guy was going to do. And I'll tell you, I like the back door to be open in that game. Although we talked about it before, and that was a fucking touchdown. Could we talk about how he was across the line, man? Yeah, the ball crossed the plane, and the Bears, it should have been 27-17. A Bears plus 10.5 should have been a cash ticket for me. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But
Dan, you and I exchanged texts. I told you he's in. Do you believe me now after watching the replays? And you actually sent me a picture that looked pretty convincingly that the ball was over the goal line.
When we were watching it live, I think if you went back and listened to my message, I was like, oh man, is he really in? He didn't look into me. And I was like, but don't worry, it's in Lambeau. They're not going to give us the call.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to whether.
I was like, there's no way it's going to get overturned. And I was like, are they challenging? But we were in commercial, so we didn't know if they were challenging. And when they come back from the commercial, the Bears were in challenge.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was a score watching it live, but you did. And I was like, okay, good. Let's challenge it then. And I was like, but they're in Green Bay. They'll never give us this call. Never.
And I also tweeted out too. I tweeted out that if the refs looked hard enough, they could find Green Bay holding on fucking every play.
God, especially that right tackle. He was holding all night. 74 was holding all night.
But they never call it. It's like it's the same thing every game. I mean, I know what's that guy's name? Kyle Brandt. Kyle Brandt, you come out and say, can we not see Green Bay and Chicago? But fucking, how about we send some fucking film to the NFL referee office, officiating office, about all the fucking missed calls? Because I mean, don't put us on prime time if the refs are going to treat us like that.
By the way, welcome Lovey Smith for joining us here at the Barroom Network's premiere show and all the other shows.
I hate that fucking beard, man.
That beard has got to. He doesn't still have that.
Yes, he does. He had it Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
He looks like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It looks like a bad mall, like somebody at your local mall dressing as Santa like for the holidays. That's what Lovey looks like, just a dude like a Rent-A-Claus.
Rent-A-Claus.
By the way, I gotta share something with you. Let me go to close up here so that you can see this. So I send Dan this picture of Aaron Rodgers posing with this kid for Make-A-Wish. and so Aaron, Dan responds back with this message.
Classic.
Fucking Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah, he probably said some bizarre shit to that fucking Make-A-Wish kid. Probably telling him there's no God and stuff, which, again, I would agree with. I wouldn't tell somebody in that spot,
It's like Peter Graves talking to the kid in the cockpit of airplane. You ever try ayahuasca or seen a grown man naked? That's what he said.
Fucking funniest thing. I mean, Dan hates Aaron Rodgers so much that he comes up with the most brilliant things about him. Aaron Rodgers telling thank you. There's no fucking God. When you die, you die. You just don't exist anymore, kid.
Good luck.
And then you had just woken up, right? When I sent you that.
Yeah. I'd been awake like 38 seconds when I said that.
I could not stop laughing. I think I replied back to you. That's the best fucking laugh I've had in weeks, man.
Classic movie though, Airplane. What a great movie.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
Leslie Nielsen, Peter Graves.
Airplane 2 could have been okay too if they had brought back Leslie Nielsen, but they had that guy that was trying to like imitate him.
Yeah, who was that guy?
I don't know. Like, that for that reason alone, it sucked.
Ever been in a cockpit before? I love that.
Exactly.
Or the uptight like housewife white woman who's like, I speak jive.
That was great.
Barbara Billingsworth from Leave It to Beaver.
My mom went to high school with the guys that wrote Airplane.
Really? The Zucker and
Pat Proft and company. Those guys. It was Pat Proft was one of her classmates in high school.
Brianna's turning everybody on in the chat room. I don't know what's going on there. We're gonna have to bring her on.
One of Dan's girlfriends, or
yeah,
no, I'm not Mitt Romney here. I only have one girlfriend.
They're almost as funny as naked, hairy, fat dude. All right, so we gotta show it again, right? All right, then I'm interviewing.
Upset Cliff Victoria, though. I think.
Pretend you were a former porn star, and I'm interviewing you. Okay. So, what was the name of the movie that you were working on when you posed for this photograph?
Return of the Fluffer.
Very good. Have you ever been in a movie with Dan Aguirre?
Yes.
Have I ever been in a movie?
Yeah, you
it
guys
was the last
together.
No.
It was the last movie I ever did.
Oh, fuck. Jesus. All right. Anything else regarding Lovey that we need to get off our chest?
Well, like I've told you many times, I thought at the time, Lovey, for those two collapses in 11 and 12, within that total context of being 7-3 and finishing 9-7 and not making the playoffs, or 8-8, whatever it was, and then the next season being 7-1 and not making the playoffs, for those two collapses alone, he probably deserved to be fired, especially in 11 when Donovan McNabb was like all over TV, like, guys, I grew up here in Chicago. I would love to come help the Bears make the playoffs. And, I'm available. I'm right here. And they're like, no, we're going to play Caleb Haney at quarterback. He's our quarterback. Lovey's so fucking country, But for that alone, I think he probably deserved to be fired. But that's not to say that I didn't like Lovey or appreciate Lovey. But people still think like it was he didn't deserve to be fired. But keep in mind, he was there 9 seasons and only made the playoffs 3 times, guys.
Yeah.
3 times out of 9 years is not good.
Yeah, but you do make a Super Bowl in those 9 years. And you do have, he made mistakes. He was stubborn about certain things. He was not flexible. And those are things. Yeah. It's funny though, because there was a really good article written. I don't know if it was the Tribune or the Sun-Times, but somebody went and spent a weekend. A reporter went and spent a weekend with Lovey and watched college football with him. And during the course of that conversation, while they were watching football and then later had dinner, Lovey said to him, I'm a better coach now because I've learned a lot of things about myself, is that I can be a little bit stubborn. I need to adapt and I need to make changes when changes are necessary and stuff. And then he gets hired at Illinois, and he has one of the worst fucking college football records for any Big Ten coach ever.
He had a big upset when he was there, though.
Yeah, big to do. He won 2 or 3 games at most. I think is what he averaged at Illinois. But now he's got his fucking break with the Texans. But unfortunately, that's a franchise that is only second behind the Washington Guardians or Commanders. What are they called? Guardians, Commanders.
Which sounds like a cheap rubber you'd get at a gas station. Somewhere in Indiana trying to get back to Chicago, and there you stop to piss, and there's a Commander rubber for 75 cents.
What would have been a good name, though? I mean, of all the names that they put out there for the Washington team, like was Washington football team the best name? I mean, I'm just saying,
Well, there was a name of an African American squadron. What was it called? The Red Hawks or something like that. That was in contention. I thought that would have been a cooler name than the fucking Commanders. What the fuck is a Commander?
At that point, I would have just stuck with the football team in Washington, even though they're in Maryland. But
mm-hmm. Foster is right. The firing of Lovey Smith is the bad thing is that he gets 10 wins and he's fired. This was, I've complained about
the context though. The 2 collapses in 11 and 12, those matter, especially with the new GM.
But that's the thing. Then the GM should have fired him as soon as he got the job. For him to accept the job when management told him, yeah, you got to give Lovey another year. That's fucking ridiculous. Listen, you hired me to be the GM. That means I have to make all the decisions. Don't tell me who my head coach is going to be. I'm going to name the head coach. That head coach and I are going to work on the rest of the coaching staff. And I alone am going to make all the player personnel decisions along with my scouting director for college football and my scouting director for pro personnel. You stay out of it. You hired me. That's it. That's what Phil Emery should have said. That's what Ryan Pace should have said. And hopefully that's what Ryan Poles said. Because if you don't handle it that way, then what you are building is a floundering franchise. Year after year, somebody's coming in and trying to salvage the football team with the quarterback they've been handed to. Give somebody the ability to build everything, the coach, the quarterback, everything. That's the way to build a franchise.
Well, I'm glad they didn't do that this year. That would mean just trading Fields. I'm glad they didn't.
Well, you're right about that. That's why they should have fired Ryan Pace last fucking year.
I agree with that for sure. Like Nagy deserved to be fired when he was grinning and smiling and shit in the Saints post game after we got eliminated in the playoffs in 2020.
Yep, I am with you. Matt Nagy, to me, him and Trestman. I mean, I can't believe these guys were Chicago Bears coaches. And I remember watching George Halas talk and the 10 o'clock news when they were covered the sports, and what a rough, gruff son of a bitch he was. The guy built the fucking NFL. The idea that he would have these two fucking nerds as his head football coaches, that would not have flied with George Halas.
Trestman would want to watch a Star Trek marathon with you. I get that, but at least he knows his stuff. Like, he's just a guy that needs probably to be your offensive coordinator. I don't think Nagy knows anything. Like, I don't
believe that.
Trestman at least knew his shit. I think Nagy was just a fucking fraud.
Yep.
Trestman deserved an opportunity is what I'm saying. I mean, if he took a quiz, he could pass it with all A's. He is smart, and he's a little nerdy, but he at least knows what he's talking about. Matt Nagy doesn't. He literally doesn't. He's somehow manipulated Ryan Pacers. Tooch always says their wives got along.
Mm-hmm. Look at what Brianna says. Yes, Aldo. Yes, that's what I've been trying to get my wife to say. Yes. She just got back from Hawaii. Hey, honey, how are you? I'm tired. Oh shit.
Well, that's what you say thinking about her. You're like, it's okay. You lay down. I'll give you a good massage. And then maybe, a half hour in, maybe you're in,
I'll try that again. All right. So I am pulling for Lovey, though. After the loss that he's going to experience at Soldier Field Sunday, I hope he goes on and wins the rest of his games. And by the way, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. I do too. I hope he wins the AFC North somehow. The South. I'm sorry, the South.
Yeah. And that quarterback they have, Davis Mills, I was really high on all 5 quarterbacks that came out of the draft with Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and the 3 other ones. And I said to myself, you know what? I would even be satisfied with Davis Mills either as a late 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick, because I think there's potential there. And while he has had flashes, it is clear that he's not ready to be an NFL quarterback. Davis Mills really needs to carry the clipboard for a while.
Doesn't he sound like a guy that should be a golfer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dave Mills. He's Tiger's wearing red. Davis Mills doesn't have a chance today.
At least miniature golfer. Anyway, Paul Clark is shouting me out here. What's he saying? Aldo, you hit the nail on the head. I love you. You're Hall of Fame listed candidate. Thank you, Paul. Holy shit, man. I am getting some love today. This is more than I'm getting at home.
Is Paul, he's a little bit behind maybe, huh? He's watching a half hour of the past.
I said that about an hour ago, Paul. Where you been?
Fast forward, Paul.
Cliff Victoria is right. Mills is an adequate player. He's definitely not a superstar and may never be a superstar. But again, he's one of these quarterbacks that you draft to keep the pipeline moving, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, those were all guys that I said you got to pick these guys up and have these guys in camp. That was a formula for the Green Bay Packers for many years. They had Mark Brunell on the bench, traded him to Jaguars. Hasselbeck, another one. There's a third one, the Matt Flynn guy. They didn't trade him. They lost him in free agency in the Seahawks.
Detmer.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Didn't Ty have a brother? Ty Detmer and
Coy Detmer. Yeah. Coy had a really bad injury on Monday Night Football in like 97 where his fucking leg was shaking after he got hit and like involuntarily was shaking on the ground while it was breaking. It was, oh my God.
Oh, I remember that. Yes. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, his leg kept shaking after it was broken. This is fucking sickening.
So my biggest worry right now, and this is going to sound really weird because going into the season, I thought that the Bears defense was going to be better than average this season, but I'm kind of worried about the defense right now. I think that the Packers exposed the fact that the Bears' run defense is weak. I think that the Bears' offensive line can still be controlled by a good defensive line. And if anything, early prediction on this game, I think that the Bears are going to win, but it's going to be like a 38-28 kind of score. What do you guys think?
I think completely opposite. I think it's going to be like, both teams with like 200 yards passing max and a run heavy game and like 19-16. It'll be one of those like the Bears win, but you'll still be miserable all week, like the intro says.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope so too. By the way, Retro just contacted me. You probably heard the little buzzer thing. He says, I'm sending you another video with higher audio. So we'll try that in a minute or so.
Is it on Betamax?
Foster is trying to do me a favor by saying "fuck you, Aldo," just to make you feel comfortable. Thank you, Foster.
It's Aldo. It's the same thing. When we had Matt Nagy here, like the dude never runs the ball. All he does is pass. Now it's like all we did was run the ball. Justin Fields only thrown a couple passes. They won't let him throw the ball or whatever. We can never have both.
Yep.
We can never have both. And same thing when like Lovey was here. He had all these great defenses and stuff. Never really had the great offenses, to go along with it. It's the story of the Bears fans' life since
it is
the Super Bowl year. We're good on one side of the ball and bad on the other side of the ball, and alternate regimes.
The one year we're number one on both, we win it all.
Yeah. Yep.
Number one offense, number one defense, Super Bowl 20 champions. But that was 79 years ago now. Can we please get another one?
All right, you ready to try this retro thing again?
Yeah.
Let me see. Share screen.
Yep.
Window. QuickTime player. Oh, fuck. It's fucking with me again. Hold on. All right, guys, got predictions for the games while I try to make this work?
Yes, the Bears win an ugly one. And let me remind you, I will not be contacting any of you during the game because I'll be driving back from that shithole known as Cleveland. So I'll have to watch the game much later in the day.
So, so you're not going to, fuck.
I'll be like, my phone will be turned off. I'm going to do everything I can to not know what's happening. Unless I'm driving when the game is playing, then I'll listen to it on Sirius and listen to Jeff Joniak.
All right. So you're not going to be here for next week's game?
You mean the show or the game?
The show.
The show, I'll be here. I was saying on Sunday when the game is actually being played live at Soldier Field, I'll be driving home from Cleveland.
And then it's the October 4th show that you won't be on?
Yeah, and is that 2 weeks from today? Yeah, I'll be in North Carolina for Bush and Alice in Chains.
Wow.
Week 2.
All right. We can't see. Can you hear Retro?
I heard something, yeah.
Your Chicago Bears visit Lambeau Field against their most hated rivals, the Green Bay Sons of Bitches. I mean, Packers. Led by Aaron Rodgers. Boy, I like to fuck you up. I mean, calm down, Aaron. I heard things. I didn't mean to get you excited. I was just saying, relax.
It sounds so Jersey Shore-ish.
Take a cold shower. Bears have a new regime, and you would have thought a new story. But the same old record was played over and over and on repeat, nonstop, for the last 30 some odd years. The Bears lose to the Green Bay Packers. The NFL has a good old boy network, and we all know that. So Luke Getsy.
All right, Retro. Show came to Screechy. I can't do it, Retro. I'm sorry. We had 150 viewers when I started playing the clip, and now we got 80.
Poor Retro.
Sorry, Retro.
You're gonna have to tell O'Reilly this, Retro, and do it live.
That's right. You got to come on live.
You got to do it live. Yep.
I don't know why he didn't come on live. I sent him the link. He was able to fucking redo the video. He should have just come on live. Anyways, all All right, so
He was alphabetizing his Betamax tapes. No time.
Did you guys give scores for this game? If so, I missed it. Please repeat.
I'll say 1916 Bears.
Okay, so you got a close defensive struggle.
Ugly game, yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like a nail-biter ugly game. Fuck, Dan. Why are you doing this to me?
Like probably 2 turnovers with both teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just penalties. You know, probably the Bears will be down at one point and everyone will be like, oh my God, we're going to lose to the Texans.
Oh my God, that's right.
And then come through at the end and it'll be like, so what? You beat the Texans. Doesn't matter. You suck.
Because I know how to clear out viewers. Yeah.
Retro just had a bad game, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
He'll be back next week.
What was the worst TV show of the 70s or 80s? Because that's what Retro just sent us. Really bad episode of The Facts of Life. What was that, Dan?
I said I wouldn't call The Facts of Life the worst show from the 70s or 80s.
No, that was the first thing that popped into my head. Who did you jerk off to in The Facts of Life, Dan?
I wasn't beaten off yet on The Facts of Life. I was like 5 when The Facts of Life were out. I was like, Dick, what's a dick? I don't know. I call this my pee-pee or some shit. I don't know.
Tooch, I know we're going to talk about gambling when Dan leaves in about 10 minutes or so, but give me a score for this Bears-Texans game.
What's the spread, dude?
So just about game. It was open Bears -3. It's down to Bears -2.5, which means there's a little bit of Texans money coming in. Opened a total of 39, been bet up to 40.5, which means people like the over in this game, at least for the time being. So I'll say Bears 23, Lovey 19.
Ooh. So you got a 19, just like Dan's got a 19, but Dan has that as the highest score. You've got that as a losing score. I don't understand what you guys are, why you have it so close. This should be an easy win for the Chicago Bears.
Didn't you watch Sunday night's game?
These are the Texans we're talking about. We're not talking about the Packers.
Yeah. We're still talking about the Bears, though.
Jordan says 28-21. Go ahead.
I think Lovey could win this game, man. I mean, they have a decent running back, Dameon Pierce and Brandon Cooks. Man, that guy's a perennial 1,000-yard receiver. You've got O.J. Howard, who seems to be reborn there. And then, Davis Mills, Justin Fields. I mean, there's not they're kind of both in the growing pain stage of their quarterback careers. And then defenses, kind of similar, right? It should be a pretty close game. That's why the Lions only opened at 3.
And we're going to be wearing those awful uniforms from 1936.
Oh, really?
With those socks,
I hate those.
Yeah. Those are the horizontal striped socks.
Yeah, it looks like Michigan's helmet.
Right.
Right.
This is the best score I've seen. Tin Pan Dog, 26-12. I like that. I like that number.
I don't care if the Bears win 2-0. I mean, I hope that they win, some 28-7 score or whatever. But if you told me they got a safety and that's all, and they won 2-0, like a Walter score from 1978, fuck it, man. A win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
Don't let Fields get hurt, and I'm happy.
The win will put us in at least a tie for first with some other team. Hopefully not the Lions, but
yeah, I don't like the idea of winning ugly. I mean, I'll take those wins, of course, but like I say at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be miserable all week. I want them to win with like the good teams in the league win decisively. Or even if it's a close game, it's an exciting game because both teams are playing well. I understand where we are in the evolution scale of this new leadership. So I don't expect perfection now, but I'd like to see it. If we win 2-0, I'm not going to be happy by that.
Fuck that.
No offensive scores? What the fuck?
Either way, that's what I'm saying. I'll take a victory, but please let me praise Brianna for using vociferous.
Oh, where she did that?
Yeah, she said that it would be vociferous clapping from the crowd or something to that effect. That's a very nice use of the word.
Yeah, very nice. Brianna. You sure you don't know her?
I've got a girlfriend, so no, I didn't bring anybody in the room.
I'm not asking if she's your girlfriend. I'm asking
No,
if you
no,
know.
no, I don't know her. I swear.
Tooch, is she one of your side things?
Not yet. I'm just kidding.
Everybody wants to date Brianna. That's what happens in a bar. That's why we call it the bar room. Jordan is sharing a couple thoughts here. What was that one that I got rid of? Where was it? Derek Stingley? What the hell is Derek Stingley coming?
Yeah, it's the Tecton's rookie defensive back.
Okay.
The son of Daryl Stingley.
God, you sure it's not his grandson?
Yeah, really. It's gotta be.
Maybe it is his grandson.
Carter was president.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd have to.
Jack Tatum paralyzed him in a preseason game in '78.
Yeah.
That's right.
So his grandson. Then, yeah,
it's got to be his grandson.
Yeah.
And if Derek Stingley is still fucking 20 years after he got paralyzed, and that's a fucking medical miracle.
Grandson, Nomad. Yeah.
Grandson. Thank you, Nomad. All right. Dan, we got you for 5 minutes. If you've seen anything in the boob tube that you want to share with people?
I told you that the Walter, if anyone has channel Epics, it's worth watching.
Okay.
The Walter, I watched Walter and John Madden's. The show's called NFL Icons. Walter's is about 50 minutes. Madden's is more like 54, 55 minutes. But it was fun watching both of them. The rest of them are like people I just don't give a fuck about. It's like Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson. I'm like, oh God, like count me the fuck out. Like, who cares?
What about anything like a movie or a TV show or anything?
I watched because I was making it for someone else, for Jenny. I watched the reboot of Quantum Leap last night.
The new reboot.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was one.
How is it? Yeah, it was on NBC.
Well, I can't give any spoilers because I'm making it for her and she's listening. So,
where can we find it?
We're not asking.
It's on NBC. It's on the network.
Yeah, we're not asking for spoilers. We're asking, did you like it?
Yes, for a first episode, I liked it, and they acknowledge Scott Bakula and his sidekick that died in real life. I can't think of his name.
Dean Jones.
Yeah, they acknowledge both of them and say that Scott Bakula was lost and never made it back. So it gives you hope that maybe by the end of the season, maybe they find him too. And they acknowledge that the program had been shut down since 1995, and the things that are happening in 2022. But again, beyond that, I don't want to give any spoilers. But if you like the original show, the first episode was pretty good. It was okay.
Yeah. For those who have never seen Quantum Leap, it's this guy goes from
Retro's guy. He's still. He's got some more
material.
Oh,
that's from before. Yeah, the Retro. We just tried playing it, and you bored the shit out of us for.
Retro. He's got another one, Aldo. We'll load it up.
No. We just threw it up, Retro. So the original show with Scott Bakula, he plays a guy who is time traveling and going for, the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. He's trying to change history and trying to change people's lives from different eras. So he's in some kind of time machine cycle that he can't get out of, right? And the Dean Jones character, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to help him through this? Do you guys remember?
It was like trying to help navigate him through each individual mission, because I think the mission, if it were fulfilled, then maybe the idea was he would cycle back home. They could figure out how to bring him back.
Okay.
Which is a similar story in the new one, which again, I won't spoil anymore, but they can't get him back, so.
Yeah, here's a show that I actually recorded and want to see, American Gigolo. It is with, I forgot the name of the actor, but he was in the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead. He's been in a number of movies. He's a really good actor, and he is playing the Richard Gere role from the original movie, American Gigolo. He's playing it in
John Bernthal.
That's him. Very good.
He's in everything. It's like you can't.
Yeah,
he's in like everything.
Didn't this film end with Gigolo, American Gigolo? Didn't he go to jail? It had a bad ending, didn't it?
Yeah, I think he did. But this is a total reworking of it, and in fact, it's not at all like the movie. They've taken some liberties from that. So,
and we saw Richard's cock in it, if you recall.
Oh well, I didn't recall that, but thanks for reminding me.
I was the body double for that, Aldo.
Probably.
That was probably one of the first Hollywood films where they showed the movie star's cock, huh?
Here's the question. I got to go, but here's as I leave you. Honest opinion. Do you think that rumor about Richard Gere masturbating with the rodent in his ass is true?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Probably
so. Just
not.
like the Rod Stewart one where he passes out on stage and they pumped his stomach and there were like 10 gallons of semen came out of him.
I hadn't heard that at all.
Oh yeah, that was around big time 20 years ago. No, I don't believe that about.
I think that happened to Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers dropped
Took into the blue tent, and that's why we have to have some kind of tent so the people can't see what's happening here.
By the way, last week we said some jokes about Aaron Rodgers and his homosexuality, and some guy named Hidden Gems came after me and said, "You're a sad human being. What happened to you? That you have to say all these homosexual jokes and that you applauded the fact that girl from Game of Thrones is of age. What kind of a person are you?" And so I responded back saying, "Yeah, well, my father was an abusive alcoholic. He used to beat the shit out of me and my mom. My stepfather was a drug dealer and so forth. So I've had a rough life." And he says, "That's no excuse. You should really, really, really reconsider, how you talk on these shows." And so I wrote back and saying, "Man, you're making sense, man. Would you be my spiritual counselor?" And then he writes back, saying, "You know what? I would consider that. If you're serious, I would consider talking to you."
The very first show that we did of Bare Their Souls, the very first one, I went to YouTube and some guy was like, I was watching the show. I liked it until they started all the stories about how they got pussy as kids. And I can't watch it anymore. I mean, it's like, that was the whole point of the show was like to talk about just growing up and how the Bears impacted you along the way. I mean, what are you doing along the way? Are you celibate when you're watching the Bears?
That's right. There's a lot of other Bears shows you can listen to. Obviously, this one isn't the one for Hidden Gems and that other guy. All right, man, get out of here and go save some lives. How's been the job at 911? Has it been busy lately? Are people paging the streets?
The last shift that I worked, literally Saturday into Sunday, we had a shooting with a gentleman that was flown out, had a CPS case, we had a car accident, and had 4 people arrested, and that was within 8 hours.
Wow. Jesus.
Oh, I forgot, Danny. West Virginia, Virginia Tech this weekend.
Is that who they're playing?
Yeah, West Virginia
in
Blacksburg.
Don't watch college football. Don't care. Like, if you told me Tech won all their games, good. If West Virginia won all their games, good. Don't care. But who's going to win? Don't know. Don't care. So
you don't have any inside information from your contacts out there?
I didn't even know they were playing. It's about time. That's part of the reason I hate college football. Like, this is like the first time in over a decade West Virginia played Pittsburgh. And like, they're right there together. It's like, if you had interleague play and the Cubs didn't play the White Sox, it's like, why would you skip that matchup? It's like, why? College football is so corporate that West Virginia can't play Pittsburgh, and they haven't played Tech in a bunch of years either, which is a short drive. And now, but they can go to Texas or Iowa like 4 times a season, which is obviously like nobody can go to the game unless you fly. But you can't play your local teams. The college is a bunch of shit. They always talk about, it's not corporate like the NFL. Everything about college football is corporate. Because you can't even play your fucking natural rivals.
I totally fucking agree with you. It's unbelievable. By the way, Foster Covers wants to correct me. He said there was 3 ounces of cum in his stomach. Yeah, it was back in the 70s. It was back in the 70s. Yeah, I was wrong. It wasn't 3 gallons. It was 3 ounces. Okay, so. All right, Dan, get out of here. And we'll talk to you during the week, okay?
On my last note, I always thought the Rod slayed some pussy though. Like I thought Rod Stewart was he bi? I thought Rod was like a ladies' man.
I've never understood that rumor because I've never heard stories that he was gay or anything like that. I think he was lame.
Yeah, he was one of these guys. The girls would take their panties off and like throw them at him and shit. You know.
Yep. Maybe it was pussy juice that they pumped out.
Hey, oh no, last one, and I gotta go. Last thing I did see about 2 or 3 weeks ago that I could recommend for you. I could recommend that new Elvis movie.
I saw it. I saw
Baz
it.
Luhrmann.
I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but it was an excellent film.
Yeah, it was great. That was the one I was going to bring up.
We've all seen it and we all give it thumbs up. So go out there and watch it. It's on HBO Max. And but if you get a chance to watch it in a big screen, it's definitely Saint Omni is right. You know what? My brother is a huge Elvis Presley fan, and so because of that, I purposely bitch about Elvis being a fake.
You hate everything that your brother likes, if you notice that.
That's the plan, yes. But really, I do like Elvis. I think he's okay. But my brother overpraises him, and then anybody that wants to throw panties at Elvis, that's just fucking ridiculous to me.
It's a shame. Like that movie really shows how exploited he was, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by that Colonel Tom. Fucking whatever his name was. He really believed that guy had his best interest in him, and he was just fucking him the whole time. It's really awful. Like this. I mean, and then nobody around him cared enough. They're like, just as long as he's performing, we're getting paid. I mean, his death was really preventable.
Oh my gosh, yes, indeed. But everybody's milking him for money, so.
Yeah, he had nobody that cared about him at all. But anyway, on that note, I'll leave you gentlemen and drive to work. So,
all right, drive carefully
night,
and
Danny.
Be well. Go Bears.
That is Dan Aguirre. I was going to say that he is known by the radio name, what is it, Dan McMahon.
Dan McMahon, yep. Jim McMahon. He took the name from Jimmy Mack.
That is right.
Yep.
Elvis had it all and was taken advantage of. You are so right, Cliff Victoria. And it's a good bio movie on that. On that.
It's on HBO Max, I think, right?
And Baz Luhrmann, the director, he's a magician. Luhrmann. He's a magician with a camera and how he tells stories. It's unbelievable. He's supposed to do a 6-hour version for HBO Max, Tooch.
No shit.
Yep. Shot enough footage. It was part of the agreement with the financing from HBO. He's going to do a 6-hour version, and he was supposed to start on it right away, but he said he is so fucking tired right now that he needs a break. And so the anticipated arrival of that 6-hour version is going to probably be a year or two late because he just is physically beat from directing that movie. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I really love the movie, man. I love Baz Luhrmann's style. It's kind of like a big show, a big theater, colorful. There's always sort of this darkly comic undertones, and love the storytelling as well, man. It was great, and the costumes are always fantastic. The set design is great with his. It's like a theater coming to life, as if it were on stage. I mean, it's fantastic. Highly recommended.
One of his films named Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor. It's an excellent film. A lot of Beatles music in it. He's just a visionary filmmaker, so I really recommend those films.
Yeah. Got Tom Hanks in it too. The cast, the kid who played Elvis, can't remember his name, but he was excellent.
Yeah, he was
good, man.
It's a very good cast, very good performances. What else have you seen, Tooch, that you like?
Well,
Seen
somebody,
anything?
this one, somebody asked us whether we saw Prey, which was like it
Yeah.
takes place in the Predator universe.
Yeah.
It takes place like in the or American frontier, like 19th century, late 1800s. But Indians encounter the Predator, Native Americans. You haven't seen it?
I have not. I have it on my list.
Yeah,
so I
good.
definitely want to see it. Sounds really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen much, man, because I've been so busy lately. So I can't share anything. I wish I could.
Well, watching House of the Dragon?
I am, but I'm 2 episodes behind.
Okay, you got to, man. Last episode's really great, man.
That's what I've heard.
A lot of stuff coming together now, all those plot lines and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
I think I might like it better than, it's like, I love Game of Thrones and stuff, but like it's like they didn't know what they were doing and stuff. They're kind of like fumbling around, and then they fucking completely blew the ending. Here it's like, okay, they've got, we're going to avoid this mistake and this mistake. They got kind of the plot lines and plot sewn up nice. It's tight.
Hey, Tucci, I wanted to ask you a question because there's some rumors going on. There's some discontent among gamblers that, what the fuck is going on with the NFL? There were so many upsets from behind. There are people actually speculating that perhaps the NFL might be fixed. Have you heard this? And what's going on here?
Man, this weekend really kind of the thought crossed my mind, Aldo, because,
really did it?
For sure, because I'm wondering. I mean, it's not like I can't picture it being a truth, because perhaps behind the scenes we don't know what's going on. Maybe the script for the NFL season is already written.
It's possible. You might never know about these things, right?
Yeah, and there were 3. Actually, there were 4 games in particular, and maybe it's just because I was on the other side of all 4 of them as far as like the plays, because I thought I handicapped the games pretty well. The first was the Browns and Jets. So I had Browns first half -3. It was 14-7, and last like 10 seconds of the first half, the Jets get a fluke touchdown, and then at the end of the game, it was 24-17. I thought, okay, I've got this game. There's 1:50 left. If we the Browns play this right, that's a win for me. And Nick Chubb, instead of if he would have just slid at the 1-yard line, they could have kneeled 3 times and kicked a field goal and been up 10-0 with 10 seconds left and no way for the Jets to win. Instead, he goes in for the touchdown. They missed the extra point. It's 30-17 with 1:40 left. Flacco goes all the way down, gets the touchdown, and then they recover an onside kick, which is 12% chance, according to NFL stats. About 12 out of 100 times a team will be successful in an onside kick. They get the onside kick, and they go down and they get another touchdown, and they win by 1 point. So that was one. And then the Ravens in the fourth quarter were up 28-7. And then the Dolphins came back from 3 touchdowns. It was 35-35, goes to overtime, and the what do we call it? The Ravens got a field goal, and then in overtime, then the Dolphins come right back with a touchdown, went 42-38, and then the Raiders 12th in the fourth quarter, they're up 20-0, and the Cardinals come all the way back, force overtime, win it in overtime. And it's the first time that in 2,229 games, the first time that 3 teams had come back from in the fourth quarter from a 2-score or more deficit on this, 2,229 tries. Almost never happens, but it happened 3 times last weekend. And then, of course, we talked about the Bears and Justin Fields crossing the goal line to rob us of the backdoor cover, which we should have. He was across the goal line, man. I tell you, that was 4 games right there, 4 plays that kind of made me think, what the hell, man? What the hell's going on? Because Vegas obviously wants the underdogs to win because the public are on all the time. Majority of the time, the public sides with favorites. They like favorites and they like overs as far as NFL. Play the favorites, they play the overs. So nobody likes to play an under because of overtime. The game can easily go over and you lose the bet. And then favorites, they're just like, hey, if Vegas sets a favorite, that's, I think, hey, that's the team that's most likely going to win. I'll tell you right now, the Browns are probably in a ton of parlays, money line parlays. Raiders are probably a ton of money line parlays, and the Ravens for sure were probably in a ton of money line parlays, and they were probably a lot of people's survivor pick. Same with the Browns and stuff. So it makes you wonder. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna. But it sure is suspicious when that happens,
I got to tell you.
Although, too, the green room.
We got somebody special in the green room. Yeah. We'll bring him in a second. But first, I got to say, respond to your wondering if things are fixed. Don't think so. Too many people would be in on the fix, and somebody would eventually talk, right? So we know that that's not going to happen. Now, what could happen is that there are certain individuals, officials, players, that's happened. We saw it in the NHL not too long ago, where there was a player, or excuse me, an NFL referee who had been gambling, and it came out
in
that
the NBA.
Yes, and in the NBA. So those kinds of things. But you can't get like, okay, we got Lamar Jackson, the Ravens in. Oh yeah, and I got the guy over at the Commanders in. I got the guy over. It can't. That kind of global conspiracy in the NFL is just not going to happen. Now let's get Retro's point of view because he has joined us here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the godfather of the Facebook page for the Barroom Network, and my buddy Retro. What's happening, brother? From another mother.
Hey, Retro.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man.
Good ASMR. That stupid video.
That's a little low. Can he turn it up a little bit?
Yeah, no, I'll turn him up. Don't touch anything. Don't.
I got a microphone down here, but you.
Oh, that's what it is. I'm gonna pump you up.
I don't have a headset, so I don't know if you can hear me good.
We can hear you good, and you look handsome. I'm gonna give you a close up here. Look at that. Flex for us now, brother. Retro, where are you from? For people who don't know you, where are you from?
Currently in Lewis, Delaware. It's the first city in the first state, but originally Jersey City, New Jersey, where Jim McMahon is from.
Wow. Tooch, could you tell from his accent that he's from Jersey City?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hey.
You'll hear it a little more.
By the way, what does ASMR stand for, Retro?
I don't know. It's something about some low volume sexual deviancy. I don't know.
Yeah, audio sexual. I mean, people actually
get experience with it than I am, Aldo.
Oh my gosh. Trust me, I have tried to get into it, because everybody's like, oh, this is a new thing to get off. It's like,
that's
okay.
That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm vanilla. So. Now, getting back to before, I was half asleep, and then I heard Retro. I was having the weirdest dream. It was like a Tu Wong Fu with you 3 guys, and I was like, "Somebody wake me up! Somebody wake me up! Please, let me get out of this." And then I heard Retro, and I woke up, and then you were gonna play that video clip I sent, and then it's stupid audio. I was like, no. So then I woke up and I was trying to fix it. I think I got it fixed, but maybe it's too loud, too low. I don't know. But you did bring up a good point, and I have been saying that the NFL is a little bit more WWE than we'd like to admit.
Ooh.
Some of it is scripted. There's no way about it. Even this last game, right? Luke Getsy only runs the ball I mean, passes the ball with Justin Fields 11 times in 4 quarters. That's less than 3 a quarter, right? This guy is not his first game. He started 12 plus games last week 13, now this week 14. I think it was a little bit payback to the Green Bay Packers for allowing him to go to Chicago or giving him his opportunity to be an offensive coordinator. There's no reason why. And even Fields said it in his after the game interview. He said, I only execute the plays that are called, and I do the best of my ability to make them happen. And he said that over and over and over again. So he was letting us know that he was controlled. Don't do this, don't do that, keep it short. There was one play where Equanimous St. Brown was open. He changed the route. He did the, hey, I'm open, and he was open, and you can see Fields was looking at him. And then he threw it down to the check down to Montgomery for 8 yards. With Justin Fields' arm and his accuracy with the deep ball, why didn't he try that ball? It wouldn't have been intercepted. It would have either been overthrown or caught. So to me, I'm thinking the NFL is fixing a little bit of this. More for the damn Green Bay Packers over and over and over again. It's not the Bears versus the Packers. It's the Bears versus the Packers and the refs. And the refs are controlled by the NFL. So there is no reason why Chicago can, over 30 years, Aaron Rodgers, he's got like 5 losses. What was that? Aaron Rodgers got 5 losses. Brett Favre got like 8. Now, over 30 years, you got less than 20 losses. That doesn't make no damn sense. X-Files. There you go.
Are you guys crazy? Are you guys seeing Martians and stuff? Come on.
No, you know who sees Martians? Or UFOs? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
like Aaron Rodgers. Are you on ayahuasca or something like that?
I haven't tried it, but I won't try it with Aaron Rodgers because, I don't know what he wants to turn around. Let you be the center.
Come on. You can't believe that there is a league-wide conspiracy of cheaters going on. That just can't happen, man.
No
individual stuff, yeah, but not a coordinated cheating scandal. No way.
What was it? Brian Flores? He said he was paid or offered $100,000 to throw the games in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not be low level. It might be high level. Like you're going to be the manager or offensive coordinator. You sign NDAs. You don't say nothing about it. Luke Gessie told Fields, don't go deep. Let's keep it short. Let's keep it simple. Let's crawl before we run, Yeah.
Pete Rozelle killed JFK.
We know who did that one.
Yeah, Ted Cruz's father.
It wasn't Ted Cruz's father. It was George Bush's father.
Woody Harrelson's dad, I thought.
Prescott Bush did it.
Yeah, the Bushes were in on it. Senior Bush. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into that stuff, but I mean,
yeah, because if we're gonna talk about Bush here, Dan wants to be involved because he loves big Bush.
Yeah, he might be listening to this on the way to work, and he might have had to pull over. He's thinking about Barbara Bush, her big old white bush. It looks like Lovie Smith's beard.
Oh, well done. No, come on. Let's get off that. There's no way that is happening at the NFL. Tooch and Retro, you guys make good cases, but I just
can't
refuse to believe it.
Nothing we can prove. I mean, just wonder if
Well, that's the thing. It's misdirection. It's misinformation. It's kind of what the government does. They almost like fake news. They'd be like, I don't believe that. Holding the Fields didn't pass the goal line. Obviously, everybody saw that. But you know what? Don't look here. Look over there. Let's get to the commercial break. Let's do this quick. There's just too much where
all holding on the Packers tonight, fellas. This
yeah,
quarter.
I mean it's you didn't see that. Don't look there. Look over here. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's a little more than we. Let's think about it. 70s and 80s WWF. No one thought it was fake. We might have thought some of it was fake or scripted or something like that. Now they are professional athletes. There's no doubt about it. What they do is real. It may be scripted, but they are professional athletes. But is it scripted in the NFL? Do they not intentionally set the schedules for certain teams to win at certain times? I think they do. The 2018 Bears, they were a last place team 2017. 2018, they played the last place schedule. They were better than the last place, and they overachieved. And then 2019, 2020, they came back crashing down to earth. And I think that's going to happen again with Chicago next year. They're going to play either a third or fourth place schedule. They're going to have all that money. They're going to get those free agencies, and then they're going to play a weak schedule, and they're going to look better than they are. There's a saying in the NFL, you're not as good as you think you are, and you're not as bad as you think you are. So I think that's going to happen. And what better way to do it? As Green Bay's going down, you're moving on up.
Wow. It's an interesting theory. Do you read a lot of conspiracy books?
No, that's the funny thing. I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but when you see it over and over and over again, 30 plus years of the same script. This game Sunday was just a replay. I don't know if Dan would probably know. He could probably tell you, you know what, that game reminded me of 1997 in Chicago against Green Bay, or something to that effect. It just over and over again, the same story. How do you go punch for punch? They score, you score. Then after that, you look like crap. What happened? Why didn't you not at least, do better? It doesn't make sense. You running the ball at 8.8 yards a clip with Montgomery, and yet you still can't throw the ball. That running game should have opened up that pass game like a barn gate. Open it up wide. And the worst runner of the three was Fields. Herbert ran well. Fields ran the worst. I think he had 8 runs for like 20 yards. That's Fields. He's faster than all of them.
Do you believe that Roger Goodell was behind 9/11?
No. But if you watch those things, you get me down rabbit holes. Building number 7 shouldn't have went down. I was in Jersey City when that happened. I was in school, and the school was on a hill, and it overlooked Manhattan. Uh-huh. And I ran home, and I was watching the TV, and I saw the needle of the one tower, and I could look back to the TV and look out the window, look back to the TV. And then I'm looking at the TV, and the needle goes down, and I look back out the window, and no more needle. So if I had stayed at the school, I would have seen the total collapse. But no, building number 7 should never have went down. It never got hit, and that was controlled.
Wow. Well, I'd like to have you back on the show because this is a topic that Dan Aguirre is very passionate about. You guys could talk about that for fucking hours.
Forever.
Yeah, no. I've heard his Lee Harvey Oswald stuff, and I'm down with that. There was 2 of them, almost like a doppelganger, and they were like, "Oh, I saw that guy over here." No, you saw what the government wanted you to see.
Mm.
How did Retro find the bar room?
From The Tape Never Lies, with Phil.
Mm-hmm.
He I watched those videos, and then I seen it, and then I watched the with Aldo, Shane, and Phil.
100%.
I loved it. And then
Craig
Braggs was in there, and I'd rag on Braggs just like everybody else. I jump on him, and I love Greg. I love those other guys. I love you guys. So it was a little bit heartbreaking to me when you guys had to go your own way. But now you got 2 families or 3 families.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I would wish everybody else well, and we are where we are. So I love Dan Santucci. Totucci, what's up? How you doing?
Santucci.
How's the blue pill? Is it kicking in yet?
Not yet. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Oh, that's
My
right. You
wife's
make
off
appointment
tomorrow night.
You got to schedule it on the calendar.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, and I mean, for a few years now, I've been avid. Dan and Aldo is my favorite show. So, and then slowly I got into it. I got with Aldo, and then we are where we are right now.
Retro runs our Facebook page, and again, for those of you who frequent Facebook, you should stop over at the Barroom Networks page and interact with Retro. He's posting cool videos. He interacts with people.
Yeah.
Make sure you do that. You can talk to him about, fucking conspiracy theories too. By the way, somebody here said something. By the way, Nomad said that Vince Lombardi did Jimmy Hoffa. Anybody want to weigh in on that? Because I've heard this story before.
I don't know this story.
Lombardi was very, very unhappy with the Teamsters and the union in Detroit. He thought that they were helping the Detroit Lions cheat at football games, and so Lombardi just took it upon himself to whack Jimmy Hoffa and bury him in some football field. Have you guys ever heard that?
I never heard that.
Never heard that.
Yeah, I just made that up.
I was gonna say Hoffa did a horrible job. Why would you kill him?
No
He
shit.
wasn't helping the Lions. He might still be alive if he is. There's a Vince Lombardi rest stop in New Jersey, and maybe Hoffa's buried there.
Oh my gosh, is that true? Because I've heard that there is a Vince Lombardi. Because wasn't he born in Jersey or somewhere?
I believe he was. I believe he used to be. If I'm not mistaken, he was. He grew up in the Giants organization. Then he went to Green Bay, became a coach.
Yeah.
Then after that, I think he went to Washington.
Now let me ask you two guys this: does it bother you like it bothers me that the Super Bowl winning championship is named after Vince Lombardi and it's not after George Halas?
No, there was an agreement, if I'm not mistaken, because you had, I think it was Lamar Hunt from Kansas City, and he was like the George Halas of the AFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had George Halas of the NFL. So they had an agreement when they merged. So they had to have like an impartial or, to make it even, let's separate the title away from Lamar Hunt or George Halas. And so they come up with Lombardi.
That doesn't make sense to me. That Lombardi had nothing to do with the AFL.
I know, but it's more of an ego thing. If they didn't do that, maybe Lamar Hunt wouldn't have joined. Because at the time, the AFL was probably going to take over. They had the better football. They had an exciting league. And so they said, well, let's agree on certain things and let's not make divisive decisions. So let's keep it. AFL is Lamar Hunt championship. NFC is George Halas. So they had, who could they name the Super Bowl? So Lombardi at that time. And, he was beloved, I guess, by both sides. Who knows? And
what have you heard? What have you heard about?
I haven't heard this, but that sounds plausible to me.
All right, so here's what I've heard.
Was the Packers the first Super Bowl champions, though?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, so maybe it was after they won the first championship, they,
called it the reason why they named it the Lombardi Trophy, according to what I heard, is actually I heard it from somebody in the chat room when I complained about this a year ago, is that Lombardi got cancer, and that in honor of his premature death, his early death, that's why they named it the Lombardi Trophy. And so they, at the same time, then said, well, we'll name the NFC Trophy after Halas and the AFC Trophy after Lamar Hunt. That's what I heard, that the compromise was because Lombardi got sick, that's why they named it. Cliff says Halas and Lombardi had mutual respect for each other. Lombardi could have been Bears coach if Halas had been willing to step down. Yeah, I heard that too, Cliff. Heard that too. But I don't know if if Retro's story is correct, but what I heard, and it sort of makes more sense to me, that it was because of Lombardi's sickness that they named it. I still say bullshit. George Halas is the founder of the National Football League. The AFL merged with the NFL. It's not called the NAFL. It's not called the AFL. It's called the National Football League because they were the league with the strongest influence, the bigger TV contracts, and blah, blah, blah. And so because of that, the guy who founded the league and kept the fucking Packers alive by loaning them money and shit like that, it's George Halas. That trophy should be named after George Halas, or fucking name it something else, you know? Fucking name it Retro, the Retro Super Bowl trophy. I like that.
It sounds good. I like the ring. I'll take a small commission every time they say it.
Retro, do you gamble?
Not really, no.
Well, that's too bad because Tucci's going to talk about some of his best bets right now.
Well, I watched some of Tucci's thing, and I'm right with him.
Which is? What?
Which is broke. If you're watching that video at the end, I joke on all three of you. I say, hey, Aldo, I hear you like 9 inches. I mean 9-inch nails. Yeah, the group. And then let me see. The Tooch one, I said, hey, Tooch, I got $100. I got 2 zeros. I'm trying to make them into 3. Give me your best pick. I can't think of the Aldo one. I can't think of it right now. But if you ever get a chance to watch that video,
I will. I promise you, I will. But we're definitely not going to play it tonight.
Now, not to say I'm not adverse to betting. I'm in Delaware, and they do have online betting,
DraftKings and all that stuff. Yeah.
But no, you can go to some of the stores. You could go to the casinos, and you can do parlay bets for the NFL. You can do online poker and stuff like that, which, I don't do too well with that. But, the football stuff, I used to do it with the bookies and stuff like that as a teenager. But, yeah, I'm definitely down, 3-team. I don't know, all those teasers and all that stuff. But, I'll pick a 3-teamer or 4-teamer and go with that. But, yeah, no, hey, if you can win me money, I'm down.
All right, win him some money right now, Tooch.
Come on, Tooch. Come on.
Some advice. Tell us at least, stay away from this or focus on that. For instance, I lost a lot of money with parlays because the first time I started betting, I hit on some parlays. I made a couple $100 and I'm like, fuck this, man. I'm a parlay genius. And then all of a sudden, my $200 investment, which I had up to $1,200, came down to $50 because of fucking parlays.
With that being said, similar to that, I would do that with crypto. I would do that with like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano. I would buy high, sell low. I think I was doing it wrong. So I would buy, and then the price would drop. It was like amazing. It was like, wow, look at it go down, and then I'd sell, and then it go back up, and then I buy again, and it's like, what the? So I'm like chasing my own tail and losing a lot of money in the process. So, but yeah, Tooch, give me a 3 or 4-team parlay, and I'll play it this week, and $20 on that.
I learned the hard way that like parlays are like the fastest way to lose your bankroll. So I usually just straight wager.
That's how Delaware gets you. Delaware won't allow the straight. The 3-team parlay is like a minimum. So
they don't they got to. I mean, does Delaware have DraftKings? Should be able to wager just on one single bet. I never heard.
I know a few years ago, my friend was in Jersey, and we would play FanDuel. And I would tell him what to play, and he'd bet it in Jersey. You couldn't do it in Delaware for whatever. But that was a few years ago, so maybe that's allowed now. I'd have to look into it. But, yeah, give me some good picks. I'll look into DraftKings, FanDuel.
Yeah, usually if I were doing parlays, it would be like $5 or $10 only,
Yeah, nothing big. Maybe $10 to like a 3-team and $10, and a 4-team, maybe another 10. Just, shits and giggles.
Yeah, if I were looking at the Bears game, though, I'm with Aldo. I think the under in this game is a good bet. But two offenses that are struggling, two pretty good defense, two defensive coaches. I mean, it's already been bet up a little bit. I thought we said, right, Aldo?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's already gone up to 40.5. I think I might take the under. I like the under in that game.
Okay, that sounds good.
Nomad has some advice for you, Retro. He says that Tuccini will turn you into a hairy-legged hooker for money.
I'll be working that corner hard, you know.
There's a market for that, I'm told. Our man Dan Aguirre loves those hairy bushes. He probably loves hairy legs too. Do you remember the old Steve Martin joke? She was so hairy, I went down to pet her cat, and it was the hair on her legs.
Oh no, I don't know that one. I know the Mary quite contrary trimmed that pussy so damn hairy. Oh, that's
the Dice Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jersey guy, right?
No, I think his real name is something like Andrew Silverstein or something like that.
Yeah, it's a Jewish, right?
Jewish
he from
guy
Jersey,
from New York.
He's from New York.
I think so. Don't quote it, but yeah, Andrew, something like that. Andrew Silverstein, and the Dice Man is a character he created. It was a good one.
Yeah, fucking very, very popular. I mean, this guy sold out Madison Square Garden multiple times.
Yeah, you know, he took the mantle, say, from Richard Pryor to Eddie Murphy to him, and then comedy hasn't been the same. Maybe Dane Cook a little bit, but then. There's very few who really consistently sell out major not stadium, but arenas like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, you know, a few, maybe nobody else.
Swanky's upset that he turned in so late. And I got to tell you, Swanky, you got to go back and listen to the first 3 hours of the show because it's some of the best stuff that we've ever done, particularly my breakdown of the 10 plays that fucked up the Chicago Bears against Green Bay Packers. All right, Tooch, give us some betting advice. I want to get out of here. Of course, you guys can go as late as you want, but I've got to...
I got to get out of here too. But straight wagers. Don't parlay too much. You won't lose your bankroll. You don't have to bet every game. You know, that's another good tip. And then NFL is probably the hardest game to want to bet on, man. It's so fucking hard. But
it is
for me,
so far of the season, but I think it's going to get easier as the season goes on.
Yeah, I hope so. I was 2-2 last night, and then on Sunday I was 2-5-1. I had one new client, and he was like, "You killed me." I was like, "Dude, sorry. Yesterday I was 9-3 in college football. You just, I was on the other end of those 3 bad beats. I mean, that just happens. I could have very easily have been 5-2-1.
Mm-hmm.
So, but college football, college football, man, we got a game going on with the White Sox and Guardians, man. White Sox are trying to get into the playoffs, Aldo.
I know that.
First place Guardians is bottom of the 10th, 5-5. Let's get another run. Jose Abreu just drove in to tie it.
Oh, wow. And the 9th or the 10th?
It's in the bottom of the 10th now. I've been watching it kind of a little bit here because I took the White Sox tonight, just money line. Just thought it would be a good bet with Dylan Cease, been checking the score, didn't play a ton of, and it's not one of my huge bets. I haven't found a good bet like the Chiefs. I gave out the Chiefs last week for Aldo and Uncle Mike. That was my big bet. I knew that was a winner. Yep. But yeah, I'll take the under in the Texans Bears. I think that's a good play, under 40.5.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, I like under in the West Virginia Tech game. I also like West Virginia to cover the 3. I mean, they have a much better defense than both teams are defensive, but West Virginia is a lot better, man. Don't like Virginia Tech's quarterback. West Virginia's got a better quarterback. The front 7 of West Virginia pretty good defensively. They've lost bad beats, two close games. West Virginia's lost one, I think, on a pick 6, and the other on a fumble. But I'll take a West Virginia and the under.
Thank you, Old Hall.
Thursdays, and also like the under in the Coastal Carolina and Georgia State game. That's Thursday night college football. Thursday night football, I don't think I'd play that. I don't like either of those teams that are playing. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, I'd have to say if I were gonna bet that game, I'd take the Steelers just because I think the coaches on the Browns suck. And I like Mike Tomlin. The Browns are terrible coaches.
Yeah, they do. We have. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
They blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter with like a minute 40 left, 100 seconds.
But wait a minute, did they blow it or did Goodell order them?
What do you say, Retro? Who knows?
The NFL non-fixed league.
Not fixed
league.
What do you think about what Cliffs is saying about Thursday games being sucking for betting? Have you heard that, or do you agree with that, or what? I know that Thursday games have gotten a lot of heat for a lot of different things, but
usually they suck.
Usually they suck, right, for viewing, but lately they've been pretty damn good.
Yeah, this week you got the Browns and Steelers. So two teams.
Trubisky.
Yeah, you got Mitch. Uncle Michael probably putting his money behind Mitch.
By the way, breaking news. Did you hear this today? Mitch Trubisky was asked about calling audibles, and he said, "I'm not allowed to call audibles. We're working on that." Holy fuck. I mean, you're basically saying the coaches think I'm stupid, so I can't call audibles, which is something that happened here in Chicago, too. So Uncle Mike is going to hear it from me this Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Bears early Bears shirt.
Yeah, Zach's right. I was on the other side of that one. Too.
Yeah, 6 years in. I mean, come on. You know, he got 50+ starts, and you can't call an audible.
Thank you.
You know exactly what the defense is doing, and you say, I'm going to hand the ball off, but I know if I don't hand it off, I got something open somewhere. But you have to hand the ball off knowing that it's going to be dead. And you can't call audible. They might as well just get rid of Trubisky. Then, you're not doing him no good. Let him be a career backup somewhere and get it over with. Pull the Band-Aid off.
Be a career backup in Pittsburgh. They're going to put this other kid in there. Yeah. So I bet you it'll be week 3 or week 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Pittsburgh will give him a little more shot, but I mean that is disheartening right there. If you got that much experience and they won't let you call it audible, what do you even play him for? Get it over with. Just throw in Pickett and be done with it. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I agree. What do you think, Tooch?
Man, I initially I had thought that would be a really competitive division. The AFC North. Then of course you have Deshaun Watson suspension. Cleveland, I thought would have a really good defense. They couldn't stop anybody on Sunday. Pittsburgh, you think, okay, they got Mitch. He can kind of make some plays. This has to be a game manager. They've got a great defense. That turned out to not be the case. They have a decent defense. They can't do anything on offense. The Bengals are in the Super Bowl loser hangover. The offensive line, Joe Burrow's getting killed again. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs. They got offensive talent. And then the Ravens, doesn't look like their defense is that good anymore. The AFC South, the AFC North, people say AFC is the stronger division. I'm not so sure, man. Those teams, AFC South, AFC North, I don't know who's going to win the AFC North. They all suck, man. Jacksonville could win that division. They're 2-0, right? Or 1-1, I think. The Colts are 0-2. They were the favorite to win the division.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Joe's got it right. Trubisky is not allowed to call audibles because the NFL is fixed.
Yeah. Is that who had that one?
Joe Treviso.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you say that, I was saying I had a joke earlier, and it was with the bald fuck for Dan. I was saying, have you ever seen Luke Getsy and Matt Nagy together? Because I don't know. You might have had Luke Getsy in the closet tied up and Matt Nagy dressed like him calling that play. You're on the 1 yard line and you go into the shotgun.
But that one play, because Matt Nagy does not have a history of running the ball like Luke Getsy has. And Luke Getsy, like he said, I'm a quarterback. I want to throw the ball. But he's not throwing the ball enough now. It's like, what the fuck? 11.
Do they not trust Justin to throw the ball?
Well, that was the question posed to Matt Eberflus, and he says, "No, I don't think that's it." That's what he said. I don't think that's it.
You're like, no, that's not it. No, no.
He's the coach and he doesn't know.
He threw 4 passes in the second half when they're trailing by what 14, 17 points. Come on, what the fuck is going on?
That's when you sling it. That's where the quarterback gets that garbage yardage and looks better than he was doing the whole game. And you still ran that. See, that kind of reminds me of with the years ago where against Detroit, Matt Nagy, I think it was Jordan Howard or Montgomery, I can't remember, but they were running the ball right down their throat. And that's the famous, I didn't come here to run a T formation or whatever it was. And you were getting 8 yards per clip, and then you get down to maybe the 5-10 yard and you want to throw the ball. No, you keep running that ball. Montgomery is getting 8.8 on the average. You should just keep running the ball. If you said we're gonna run down their throat, why not keep running down their throat? Get that fullback in there. I don't care. Put another offensive lineman in there. You put a jumbo package in there. You just freaking go right down the middle. But no, you want to go 5 yards back and run it with your quarterback. That just doesn't make sense. You know, that's almost like where Nagy would do that stupid little trick play to the tight end when he get hit 5 yards in the backfield. Remember a couple years ago he did that. So I mean, you get too cute. Don't get too cute. Do what made you get to where you were. You were running the ball and you were getting it down there, and they were probably tied on that defensive line. And you just put in them jumbo. You put in an offensive lineman. I don't care if he was the fullback or frick it. Do a refrigerated Perry. Put fucking 350-pound there and give him the ball. Get that ball in there no matter what. But no, you want to put your quarterback 5 yards back and then run it up there in the middle. I mean, jump over the pack, do something. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It was frustrating. From the video, it looked like he got it, but I mean, it was too close. Why put it in the ref's hands? Because the refs are not going to give it to you. Just like with boxing, you either knock them out or you're going to lose. And that's the same thing with Green Bay. You got to knock them out because the refs are not going to give you that benefit of a doubt. They'll give it to Rodgers. They give it to whoever else. But for whatever reason, Chicago doesn't get those calls.
Yeah. Did you notice that, Tooch, just changing the subject here, is that Paul Clark is like an hour behind us.
He's talking about Cressman. That was like an hour ago.
Paul Clark, do you even know that Retro is now on with us and not?
I don't think he knows.
That's funny that
Fast
you
forward
said that.
to live.
I was 20 minutes behind because when I heard that and then I was trying to make that video and I'm saying stuff, but then you said about, I guess, Pawtucket, that he was behind. And I looked at my shit and I was 20 minutes behind. I had to skip it to the live. And then I was like, oh my God. So he's not the only one.
Oh, that's unbelievable. All right. I got to pull the plug on this because I got to pull my dick out.
I got to work.
Retro's got to work. Retro's got to work.
You to sleep.
All right, guys, let's just go real quickly around the horn here and any last minute shout outs or anything you want to share with people before we get out of here. Retro, I'll start with you.
The only shout out is to you guys for allowing me to come on here and speak my mind. I could be here all night and you guys will be and then I'm like, shit, I gotta go to work, and then I'll be tired at work. So, but yeah, I mean, I thank you guys for letting me on. And I think in the future, Aldo and I talked about some stuff. I may do some video clips where I'll ask questions, and I may do a little try to be funny stuff. Kind of what I was trying to do before. I'll try to get the audio up, So we'll see how that goes, and it'll be more of a Q&A with almost like Fox football on Sundays where they would have the comedian come in. Not saying I'm a comedian. I think I'm funny. My wife don't. But anyway, that being said, maybe something like that. And you guys can ridicule me before with the Betamax. Yeah, I heard that,
There's a lot of people in the chat who agree with your wife.
Oh, sons of a bitch. I bet my wife's got one of these fake names and she's up there.
She's Brianna.
Like, go to bed.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
That's
Pretty
hilarious.
sure she's not Paul Clark.
No.
I hope not.
Tooch, final words, please.
I want to thank all the Barflies as usual for all the support. And come and check out the weekend sports betting tips with either Anthony or Sean or some guests I'll be having on in the future, and get some college and NFL tips, man. I think Sean gave out a couple of winners last Saturday, and for our free play, he gave out Washington Huskies -3 versus Michigan State. I tailed that one. If you played that one was a winner. He gave out his free play on the show last Saturday. So if you played $100, you got $100 in your pocket.
Nice.
Also, want to thank Aldo for making all this possible. That was really fun tonight, man. I hope Dan goes back and watches my A. Whitney Brown presentation during.
I hope so too. Shit.
He missed the whole thing. I wrote that entire thing for him.
Not only that, he missed another portion of what you had in store for him. I forgot what it was, but yeah, both times he failed. He had once, and then he had the radio emergency the other time.
Yeah.
Radio
emergency was going off all night there for him.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of big fluctuations.
Yeah, like 3 times tonight. That's a lot.
I love Cliff Victoria's idea on the green screen behind you. You should play some of your porno movies. You know,
yeah. That I really want to have backgrounds back here, but like I said, there's too much audio and video lag now between the two. So I haven't quite got that figured out yet. But
we will fix that.
Yeah.
All right. Cliff Victoria says, when you guys invite me, we'll have even more fun. Yeah, Cliff, you're on the list of guys to come on. Absolutely. And Cliff, by the way, is become a regular over at the Bears Country podcast with his Cliff Notes section, which is really, really cool.
Right.
So guys, make sure you on Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central, you are watching Bears Country podcast with Mr. Shorty and
Dan Aguirre last week.
Dan Aguirre's been on the last 2 weeks, so he might be on again. I'm not sure what his schedule is, but that would be awesome. And of course, by the way, Rich Kid wants to know whatever happened to Draft Dr. Phil. Show us the tape. Anybody want to clue him in on what happened to Draft Dr. Phil? Okay, I will. He had a terrible accident, and he's buried now. Where is he buried in New Jersey, Retro? What was the name?
Vince Lombardi at rest stop. He's next to Hoffa.
That's right. He's if you go over and stop at the Lombardi rest stop on the New Jersey Turnpike, you might see the headstone for Draft Dr. Phil. All right, everybody. Love you. Love Draft Dr. Phil. And thanks to everybody for popping in, watching us live. And by the way, Greg Gabriel and I have a show tomorrow morning. Not sure what time we're going to start, but Greg has had to attend to some personal business, and we're ready to rock and roll tomorrow morning.
I can't wait for that because he was a little upset with the Twitterverse. You know, he wrote an article about it on Windy City, or what is it? Is it Windy City is where he writes for?
Yeah, Windy City Gridiron, yes.
Windy City Gridiron, yeah.
Right. So make sure you watch that. The best way to stay on top of everything we do here at the Barroom Network is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, which is managed by Retro, and follow us on Twitter at Barroom Network. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your attendance for the live show, and let people know that they can listen to it on demand or go over to Facebook or Twitter and watch the show. Take care, everybody. See you next week.
Good night.